Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
I want people to believe in me, and I want people to believe in me when they taste my beer. That's what it's about.
You mean you laid underneath it and tried to put his tongue up the bung?
I like to actually scoop up the yeast and look at it.
7 o'clock came real early that next morning.
Yeah, man. Thanks for dumbing that down for us. You did an awesome job. It's all about food and beer.
Punch me in the junk. Man, that thing was thick.
The point is just beat it like it's your dick.
I like to smell it afterwards.
Are you being sarcastic right now?
Yeah. Bring your body armor.
I ran into my junk once on a ball valve in a kettle.
That's a true happy ending.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Tasty, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great. I'm surviving.
Are you recovering from HomebrewCon?
I'm recovering from the 4th of July weekend. But
really?
HomebrewCon was a piece of work as well. I did it a little bit differently this year. I went like 2 days early.
Yeah.
And blew up Portland, going up like 6 bars a day. Obviously drinking in them all.
Yeah.
And I had like 2 days of prep before I hit the 3-day, more of the same kind of thing, but at the conference.
Sauce that liver up a little bit.
Yeah, so I was like, hit the ground running.
Okay, and was that a good strategy for you?
It worked pretty good. I'm a seasoned professional. I drink, a lot of nights in a row. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, well, that's good, man.
You never saw me before noon, at the conference.
I never saw you at the conference at all.
It's just
you never once came by the Brewing Network booth.
I was by one time when they were doing Palmer and Jamil were doing Bruce Strong.
They were flapping their gums.
They were talking about fermenting under pressure.
Oh, okay.
Chris White was there.
Like I have to get this out by tomorrow. How do I do it?
No, actually under like bars of actual pressure.
Oh, okay, yeah. Chris White loves talking about that.
It reduces it's like lowering the temperature. Some of the effects are the same.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for joining us, you all. Before we get into everything and tell you what the show is about, I want to thank our show sponsor, More Beer, our title sponsor, as we like to call them. They have teamed up with the great John Palmer, speaking of John Palmer there, Tasty, to make 27 beer kits based on the recipes found in Brewing Classic Styles, written by Palmer and Jamil Zainshef. These kits are true to style and all within BJCP guidelines, enabling them to be easily entered into that upcoming competition. Buy 2 kits and get fast and free shipping from morebeer.com. Good dudes at More Beer, man. It feels like their booth was like the entire middle of the showroom floor.
It was great. It's big and great, and a lot of people coming up. They have great looking product, and they're great people to talk to. And people they go to conferences every year, always come by there and talk to them because they know those guys pretty well.
Yeah, for sure.
And always got like new equipment and what the latest and greatest stuff is. And they'll have a raffle or something. They're giving stuff away all the time. So.
All the time. Yeah, definitely hit that up, man. HomebrewCon was cool, man. I had a good time. I came in Thursday, because I got the kid, and I just didn't want to leave the wife home alone for an extended period of time, because if we didn't have the kid, I would have been there Monday night. Or not Monday, because we had a show, right? Tuesday. I would have been there Tuesday morning, man.
Yes, I left for Tuesday.
And just partied up. But no, I came right from the airport. My flight was delayed a little bit and then landed late, and I sat on the tarmac both times for like 25 minutes.
Both ends of it. Wow.
Yeah, so I got out of the airport like 3 o'clock, and I had to be back at the booth to do Dr. Homebrew by 4.
Oh, I see.
So I just came right from the airport to the John, and just, basically slipped in there and started working. Oh. And then we went to, of course, my favorite spot in Portland, Hale Pele, which is the tiki bar there that I've been telling everyone to go to.
Highly recommended. I didn't go, but a lot of people were going.
Oh, man, you should have gone. It was a good time. It was a good time. We had a crew. We had like 5 people or something, so our wait was obnoxiously long because it's a small space.
I see.
But the people that were really accommodating, they're like, well, we have a reserved section, but you have to be out in like an hour and a half. And we're like, that's fine. Because for me, I mean, mixed drinks are cool. Tiki drinks are great. I fucking love them. I'd make them all the time at home. But I can't sit up.
You could do 3. That's one too many.
And that's it. Even at any bar, an hour and a half. I'm like, okay, either we're going to the next one, or I want to just leave the space. I get kind of
I'm the
antsy.
Same way. I like to move on. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Let's just get out of here
when I can. If there's another place to go, sure, I'm staying there.
Right.
But like in Portland, if there's another place I've never been to up the road.
Yeah.
I'm hitting lift. I have 1 beer and a lift. I drink $6 beer and an $8 lift, alternating.
Yeah. What I did notice across the street from the convention center, which, by the way, the Portland Convention Center was really great.
It's great.
It was cool, and they have a couple of places to actually get real food, like actual food.
Yeah, not tourist places.
Yeah, exactly. So that was cool. But there was a dispensary
right
across the street, and talk about the prime location. For a marijuana dispensary.
For out of town big visitors.
Yeah, I mean, how many? 30,000? Not us, but like 30,000 people, maybe 25,000 people coming to some tech conference or whatever. Yeah. They're going to bombard that place. Did you hit up any?
No.
Any weed spots?
No, I brought my own, so I didn't need to.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were. Every time I go outside, fresh air or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I see the place across the street, and I'd be like, oh, there's a couple of guys coming out of there.
With badges
on?
Got
the badges on. So in the gift pack, the pack they give you when you check in, there's coupons for stuff. The guy across the street puts in, she puts something like 10% off or something. You kill it over there.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The Brewer Association should have asked the dispensaries to sponsor. Had a booth. Can you imagine having a booth?
Well, it will happen, I think. It's going to merge.
Yes.
Maybe commercially before, homebrew is hardly anything to be legal.
Right.
But you can see it happening where, it's going to be on the pro, at the conferences, the expo. Those guys could be, showing the CBD beers off and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well doesn't Heineken Lagunitas have a marijuana seltzer water or something like that? Which sounds like that's like the whitest thing to drink ever. Yeah. I'm ingesting pot, but it's seltzer water.
Well,
get some flavor in there, man. Come on.
Well, I could see some flavor like a fruit or something. Seltzer water. I guess it's no calories. That would be the thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if you're going to get high, you might as well not have any calories with it.
I guess you could, since it's seltzer, you can always add any flavor you want. Make root beer out of it in a second.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like covering up the flavor, the taste of pot is kind of defeats the purpose of it.
I get that part.
Because for me, the smell and the taste is probably better than actually just getting high. I mean, getting high is whatever, but
something to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I'm kind of shocked that you didn't hit some dispensers and try some different stuff.
I went over there with some people. Here's what you should get. Well, that's way too much. Don't get that.
Okay. You were their guide. You were their Sherpa, their marijuana Sherpa. Yeah. All right. We went. I crashed with Bev and Sam in the hotel room, which, by the way, I will never do again, ever. Because the sound of sex coming out of the other bed was just obnoxious. Well, and then Bev came in, and then it was weird. But
really weird.
We had to go. We walked up, a couple blocks to some breakfast place or whatever, and then back down. I got a haircut. Just typical shit. Yeah, you got to get a haircut, dude. And then to the convention center along 7-block radius, 7-block stretch of one road, 2 dispensaries, 4 blocks apart.
Wow,
and they're both open at 9:00 in the morning.
Ooh, well,
as a full-time stoner, is 9 o'clock in the morning like you don't have any left over from the night before? It's not crack. I mean,
you can't wake and bake if you don't have the baking materials. Maybe
and
9
I guess
o'clock could be late.
And I guess stoners are not really the most prepared lot in the world.
Yeah. We can't keep fresh milk in the refrigerator. Imagine if you're high all the time.
I was shocked. We were walking by the dispensary, 9:01, and the sign was open. I was like, okay, there we go. Yeah. But I wonder how many attendees actually hit the dispensaries. I'm very curious about that.
I did smell a lot in the hallways of the convention center.
Yeah, people were carrying some loud.
People were sneaking a puff on their little vape pens and stuff.
They were just buying vape pens. I guess
I wouldn't have done that myself.
And you just chuck it as you shiftily look from side to side. This guy's stoned all the time. Don't let him. Like just walking around puffing on pens, huh?
Yeah.
And then I guess presumably they just chuck them when they're done because they're just.
Yeah, well, I smuggle mine both ways, but you can just throw it away. It's like I don't know. It'd be like $40, $45 something for a year.
That seems too cheap. And you just throw it away and end up in a landfill.
Yeah, then you throw the other half away when you go leave or something.
Huh.
Or give it to a local.
You want my pen? You know that happens all the time in Granola, Portland. I don't know. I had a good time, man. I thought it was real cool.
Great event. The seminars were just great.
I didn't see a single seminar, dude. I was stuck at the booth. It was like a really light work. Staff. So it was basically Bev and I at the thing. And Taylor was there, but he was running the boards for the show. Mm-hmm. So when he was supposed to be covering, like we can go out and get food, he was actually working. It was just kind of like shit. Well, now we're here, so that just kind of happens. If you didn't go to NHC, I would like to report that Justin did do the play-by-play on the wing contest, and he did not get sick.
Oh, that's right.
He was able to keep it in. Apparently, they all had their backs turned to him.
Oh.
So it was very easy for him to not, puke up everywhere and do that scene from Stand By Me.
Did they all hold their stuff down so you didn't get to see them project down across
the
room?
I don't know. I think so. I think I would have heard it. I don't think it was from what I understand, it was a timed event. You had whoever ate a certain amount the fastest, went through. They were like heats. And then the finals were held at the Buffalo Wild Wings, which apparently is called B-Dubs. Like that's what everyone was like. Oh yeah, B-Dubs. We're going to B-Dubs for the Buffalo Wild. Okay, all right.
Oh, it's a nickname for it.
Apparently.
All right, cool.
You know,
I never heard it called that before.
Neither did I. And someone from the BA is like, "Yeah, I got to go to B-Dubs instead of going to your party." I'm like, "Well, that doesn't sound cool." But I don't know. I don't know who won when they get free wings for life. So there you go.
So it wasn't a volume thing. It was speed eating.
It was speed. Yes, it was. I think it was like 6 wings or something like that. I don't know what it was, but
that way you could compete multiple times.
Yeah. And had I known that, I would have at least tried. I can suck the cartilage off a wing, dude. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's a lot about just grabbing one end, pulling everything off.
Just going for it, man.
Whatever. You got to put your tongue in the right way or something.
Something like that. But yeah, that night we had BNA 13, of course.
That was a great event.
At Base Camp Brewing, yeah. I want to thank, I should thank Base Camp Brewing for hosting us.
Yeah, I talked to them a little bit. They're glad to have us, even after we were done doing our shit. They said it's a good crowd. I said, well, I'm not surprised. These guys are homebrewers. They're out drinking all the time, and they know how to behave themselves. Yeah, for sure. And, I was a little disappointed because, the thing ended at 2 o'clock, and then we had to break the booth down, pack up our trailer, and then drive over to Base Camp to set everything up. So I missed the whole award ceremony and all that kind of stuff. But that's fine. Hopefully we can schedule around it. But it gave me more time to hang out at Base Camp. And so Warren and Sam and I, after we were done setting up, went in and purchased a couple pints of beers, man. Nice. And they were delicious. And they were beers that they weren't pouring outside, too, so that was pretty good. But they had a couple lagers there, and we had them on the show a few years back. Yeah, that's how they knew us, Yeah, and their beers were good, and their beers are still good, man. It's a cool spot. Yeah, they had basically all their beers, plus a few guest beers outside. There were 29 beers, different beers or something? Yeah, something like that. And I think they only had like 5 Base Camp beers. Oh, really? I didn't look that closely. I know the one I camped on was Base Camp beer. In fact, after the event was over, I went inside and had a pint. What was it? Do you remember? It was a hazy beer, but it was really good, which is unusual. That's very unusual. Yeah, I don't know which one it was. I forget the name of it. Oh, okay. It's number 5.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they had a cool Kolsch, and and I forget some of the other breweries that were there. I imagine they're all local breweries to the place, but there was a cool DJ spinning some stuff, and we gave away a bunch of stuff. And
really cool stuff. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. So thanks to More Beer, of course, 5-Star, Blickman, Imperial Yeast, Airstream Northwest. There was an Airstream trailer.
Yeah, they had a demo there.
Warren was just fascinated by it. He's like investigating where the propane tanks were. He's like unbuckling shit. I'm like, are you going to buy one? No. Well, then get out of here. What are you doing? Oh, Warren's actually called me. And White Labs. Thanks to White Labs. You want to let's talk to Warren real fast.
Put him on.
Let's see if we can do this. Hi, Warren. You're on the air. This is a butt dial. It's a butt dial.
Nice.
All right. Well, there you go, Warren. Thanks for screwing with us. I appreciate that very much. Hey, if you want to call me and really talk to me, then call me 1-888-407-207-BEER. What the fuck
401
is that? 401 beer.
Welcome to the Brewing Network.
It's his second show. Give him a break.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. But BNA13 was cool. And, of course, thank you to everybody who came out and spent money and their time after a long week of drinking to come and party with us. It was really, really appreciated, and you know, it was cool to hang out with y'all, man, and drinking beers and talking to people that I've never met, and that was cool because for a while there we were kind of meeting the same people over and over again, which is no offense to anybody we were meeting over and over again, but this seemed like a lot of fresh new faces that have been listening to us for a couple years, and that was really neat, man.
Yeah, it was fun going around and talking to everybody. Or as many as I could. I'm sure I didn't talk to everybody, but I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a good time. So BNA 13, thanks a lot for everybody for coming out to that, and of course to Base Camp Brewing for supporting us. And then you know, if you're there and you go to Base Camp, just right around the corner, there's a place, the Rum Club. I went there a few times. And,
that place is legit.
Isn't it good? Oh, it's so good.
And Sassy's is 2 blocks up.
Sassy's is right around the corner from that, too. So it's a whole thing, man. You can have a trifecta of fun, apparently.
I was doing laundry today, and I found, like, $26 in ones, a pair of jeans from Portland. And I was like, I hate you so much. Oh. And he's like, that's just how they give you change there. I ordered a beer, and I'm like, okay.
You ordered a beer with what, $40?
Yeah. He was like, no, I got cash back. I'm like, okay.
Boothang, what are you doing? Apparently, Justin left like $40 in ones on the counter of his room, and the maids thought it was a tip and took it.
Wow.
That's what I hear anyway. I don't know.
That's my favorite story.
It's a good story, and especially for a strip club / hotel connoisseur like Justin. You should know that. I mean, that's just right there. That's a tip.
It looks like one. I mean, if it was checkout day.
It looks like one.
It wasn't checkout day. It was just the day he left and left the money.
I guess.
I
don't know.
I leave money laying on the counter all the time in hotels, and I've never had it touched.
Oh.
Yeah, well, and you know what? And the person who got me, I don't want to say started in tipping hotel staff because that would imply that I still do it, is Push. And he's like, I just leave $2 or $3 on the pillow. That way they know it's for them. Mm-hmm. And it's just a thank you for cleaning the room. And sometimes you get like extra coffee or whatever. It's never worked for me. But sorry about the stains on the toilet. Like, here's a one. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, NHC was cool. Next year it's in Providence, Rhode Island.
Wow. The other way.
It's a long way away, man.
It is.
Are you going to go? You gonna make it?
Why not? I don't know why. That's not a year to stop, as far as I know.
That's true, man. I don't know if I told you. I'm working with a couple dudes to help try to bring it to Anaheim in a couple years.
Oh, nice.
Anaheim Convention Center, get them discounted Disneyland tickets, and hook all my friends up. Oh man, that'll be good.
Do an event in there.
That would be actually. I mean, I know we can do an event at like Ralph Brennan's or something like that. We could probably buy Ralph Brennan's out for BNA 14. Or they have
probably could.
Lane splitter, not lane. What's the fucking bowling alley?
The bowling alley. I don't know.
Splitsville or Split Lane or.
I think it's Lane Splitter.
No, that's the pizza place. Hair Lip or Split Lip or Do the Splits or whatever. Anyway, too bad ESPN Zone's gone.
That'd be great. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time. Speaking of good time, Tasty, let's do some feedback. What do you think?
Let's hear it.
Feedback today is brought to you by the Beer Law Center. John at the Beer Law Center protects our trademark and a whole bunch of stuff. Free advice for us because, we're nice. But he can protect your stuff, too. Go to beerlawcenter.com. John's a good dude. I thought he was going to be there.
No, I did not see him.
Oh, well, I guess why would he? It's homebrew, right?
That's true.
Dude, every time we recorded a show, there was a guy. He would stand out in the audience watching the recording, and he was John's twin.
She's taking a picture. Tag him in it. Great hanging out with you. I'm so glad I could buy you beers, John.
I should have. He looked so much like him. I saw him on multiple occasions, and every time I was like, oh, not John.
Not John.
Don't be weird.
Get your John out here, John. So this email is interesting. Tasty, you might appreciate this, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I have to reach out. So apparently we have a listener called Adam who, here, I'll just read you his email. Why is it not scrolling? There it is. He says, after hearing you guys talk about touring the Adam and Eve warehouse, but nobody ever pulling the trigger, I felt as a BN soldier when really bored after work, I would help get the conversation started, so here it is. Apparently, he emailed Adam and Eve for us and said, hey, here, I'll just read you his email because it's pretty good. He goes, this will probably be the strangest email you guys ever get, but here it goes. I follow a podcast called The Brewing Network, which you guys have been sponsoring for the last few years. They are constantly talking on the show about wanting to set up a tour of your facility, and me being one of the BN soldiers, I felt it was my duty to try and help them make that a possibility. And yes, they are very serious about this. And they wrote Adam back, and they go...
I wish you did explain soldier.
I know.
What is this, the white supremacist group?
Yeah, it sounds real weird. Okay, MAGA, dude, great. And they go, where are the hosts of the Brewing Network located? Is everyone over 18?
So it's like we're qualifying.
Yeah. I'm like, cool. How possible is it you can get everyone here? So I don't know.
I also love that they're like, who is this Brewing Network you speak of? Meanwhile, next week I'm going to get an email that our Adam and Eve contract is canceled.
Yeah.
Like, I heard you guys.
I'm not crazy about this soldier thing.
Yeah. I'm glad. Dear Adam, thank you for pointing out that we still advertise in the Brewing Network. Yeah. That has been corrected.
That's right. We thought, whatever. That was an error in marketing. They forgot to delete the account or something.
Yeah. Anyway, Adam, thanks, man. I'll reach out to them because Bev's not going to do it. And
nope, sure not.
And
we should let them know we're interested as far as scheduling something.
Yeah, I really want to go if they pay for us to get out there because I can't afford to get out there. We got to buy a tear in a car now.
If they're our sponsor. It'd be like we would whatever.
Well, hey man, we'd all get content out of it. It'd be great. Here's an email from Chris. He said, I wanted to give you the scoop before it gets out. This is apparently this is a little bit ago. Someone called Basic City Beer Company just acquired something called Twisted Ales Craft Brewers in Richmond, Virginia. Another small craft brewery purchasing another small craft brewery. He goes, won't make national news, but he thought it was interesting for us to know about. So there's acquisitions happening that aren't just Heineken buying out Lagunitas and Budweiser buying out everybody else.
No, the 21st Amendment Buckton Brewing Funkworks merger was sort of like that. They just combined marketing departments, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it's happening out there. Interesting stuff. This email is from Brett, and he says, hi, guys and girls, plural. I don't know who. Well, I guess there's Kim, but, we forget about our buddy Kim. First off, thanks for putting on a great party at BN13. All of you are so humble and friendly with your fans. Nice to finally meet you and get some pics with you. First of all, you still owe me $10, Brett, for that photo. Anyway, enough ass-kissing. Here's a show idea. Have a hop grower on the show. Have him explain how to grow hops at home and then how to pick and dry and brew with them, fresh or dried. Nick Ziegler from YCH Hops did a great seminar at BrewCon. Plus, he seemed like a nice guy at his booth and took the time to talk to people. Yes, I agree. I've talked to Nick for a few years now. He's a good dude. He wants to get us up for Hop and Brew School, Tasty, and for Harvest, and for us to kind of do a show up there and do some stuff. So I think that could be real cool. Yeah. And I know haven't we done a show several years ago about hops and hop growing at home?
But it's been a while.
But it's been a while, and I'm sure that we could do it again. So, yeah, I should reach out to Nick. That's a good idea. Brett, thank you very much. He also says, tell Tasty to move closer to the mic when he talks.
Okay.
unless that's his usual mumbling volume.
That's pretty much it.
Give Bevo a raise. She deserves it. Suck it, JP. Thanks again from Brett. Oh, Brett, you're welcome, dude. Here's one from our friend Clayton in Beverly. our good friend Clayton. He says, I believe Bevo did not enjoy working with the Sour Hour crew up until a couple of months ago, but lately has even acquired a near co-host status. She even has her own segment, More Info with Beverly Moore.
Yeah, that's a thing.
First of all, it's the dumbest segment name I've ever heard in my entire life. What happens on the More Beverly with Info More?
Well, during the sour life, as I like to call it, because once it's edited, it is only an hour, but each episode records for 90 minutes. And the rest of it gets edited out. There's just a lot of like spastic random rambling talking.
Why do they edit it out?
Stop doing that. Don't have to edit
because
it.
It's the sour hour, but for some reason we can't just record it in an hour.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I got some tips. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tasty, don't get me started. But
whatever.
You know, during one of the random rambling sessions, the topic of the band Aha came up. And I think Scott asked me to look something up, and he was, I looked it up. I read the information that he wanted, and then he was like, "Wow, it's like
because he can't look it up
more
on the two
information
computers
it just became a thing, and now I'm a
what kind of things now? So now you're Google.
Well, but that's okay because I have an excuse to not be paying attention during the sour hour, as opposed to just not paying attention.
Okay. What else do you look up? Like, what kind of things do you Google for Scott?
I've only done it twice.
Okay.
And so it was the band Aha.
Yeah, I know. Take on Me. I get it.
Take on Me.
Yeah.
And there was something, he asked me to look up YouTube videos of old broadcasts where the people were like reading, and they had the paper, and they'd be like, reading off of the press.
Right.
It didn't go. That one went over like a fart in church. That was so bad.
Is it to justify him doing this sometimes?
Yes, I think so.
Which is an old Phil Hendry bit, and that's this whole... Yeah, okay. All right, well, hey, that's cool.
So do you have intro music? Or?
No, but I did have to record like... And now, more information with Beverly Moore.
You introduce yourself? Wait a minute.
I do. Yeah. Well, look, I'm not a real co-host. I'm kind of like a co-host.
Well, Clayton goes on to say, I think this is a perfect example of Stockholm Syndrome. Please monitor this. I'm worried a little bit, although maybe the whole syndrome started with Justin a decade ago and really manifested itself when she actually went full-time with the BN. Maybe the Sour Hour situation, or he says sitch, is just another example of how deep it goes. I don't know. Keep up the decent work. I love you all.
Thank you, Clayton.
And then last but not least, we finally have a decent spam of the week.
Oh. Bring that segment back.
This is from Sherry Hopkins, and it's titled, I Like to Meet You, with, I think, 7 exclamation points. But there's a space in between you and the exclamation points, so it's like another word. I like to meet you. Hey, are you dreaming hot sex? I'm sexy, very hot. I can do whatever you say to me. All your dreams. I like to spend a lot of time with you guys. Give me your hot mind, and maybe I am the one you need for tonight. Look into my eyes. Let me send you a kiss. I will make you happy. I am a girl who likes to live new experiences. I like to meet people from the U.S. I like to go out walking. At first, you should view my profile. And there's a link to her profile. Give me your hot mind,
we
Tasty.
should just buy a burner computer and click that link.
It will literally catch on fire. Like the SIM card in that episode of 24 when he puts it in the phone.
I'd love to know his or her success rate. Like, what happens after? Who reads that?
Right. What's the open rate on these things? But also, I like that one because it's kind of like poetic and almost sincere if you knew it wasn't written by a bot. I'm the one, look into my eyes.
Which eye?
Let me send you a kiss. The eye that you're sitting on.
Ew.
That's Spam of the Week, everybody. I guess I should tell you what we're doing on the show today.
Oh, that's right.
We have a topic for today, which almost didn't happen. So what I found out after NHC was that our local club, DOZE, had a few winners, a few medal winners at NHC.
Multiple, even.
Yeah, sure, a few or multiple, whatever you want to do. So we're going to have two of them in tonight. We're going to have Sean and Vito. And Vito won a medal with his Aussie Sparkling Ale, Australian Sparkling Ale. And Sean won a medal with his barley wine. And I thought, well, that would be great. You guys are local. Let's come in, drink the beers. Let's talk about it. Let's do a little homebrew topic, because we haven't done homebrew here in friggin' God knows how long.
Find out what it's like to enter and win.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Vito doesn't have any of his beer, but Sean brought his barley wine. So he's 3 bottles of barley wine, medal-winning NHC bottle, the same batch. That's just the same recipe. So pay attention, because you're going to get recipes. Also, Vito and Sean have their recipes. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about their experiences. Yeah. Beverly, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say,
and make it good, because it can't be good.
God, I was just going to say that I'm disappointed we don't get to have Vito's beer, because it's something different, and it sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I've never had an Australian sparkling ale. The closest thing I had was at NHC. There was a Australian Homebrewers.
A stone beer. Is that what you're going to say? You're looking at me like no.
No.
Okay.
But I appreciate you asking me what I was going to. Anyway,
sorry.
There was Australian homebrewers at the booth, and they brought beer over. They were clones of Cooper's ales and whatever. Nice. So I had some of that, and that was cool. It was good. But I've never had an Australian sparkling ale, I guess, aside from that. So I would have. I agree with you. I wish he would have saved some, but I guess he poured it all at the DOZE booth at NHC, which was huge, by the way. It was huge.
Well, also, if we had maybe not sprung, hey, can you come on the BN on him, maybe he would have known to.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. It sounded like you only had that one keg, so what are you going to do? Before we take a break, I think what you should do, especially you, Beverly, start supporting small beer 1 T-shirt at a time with Suds Duds Society. The brewery T-shirt membership, where members receive a T-shirt, beer merchandise, and a homebrew recipe from a different brewery each month. A portion of each membership will go to the highlighted brewery and to sponsor a local homebrew club in their area. Join the society in the month of July to receive 2 additional pieces of throwback beer merch and homebrew recipes with your first brewery package. Become a member by going to sudsdudssociety.com and use promo code BNARMY at checkout to receive a discount on top of their throwback tier beer merch and homebrew recipes. sudsdudssociety.com. Let me tick this box. Okay, we got it. Let's take a break here, Tasty.
I can do that.
You sure? We all right with that?
Yep.
Take a break, refill our beers, sort of. And then when we come back, we're going to talk with Sean and Vito from Club DOZE. Got a couple local DOZErs in here to talk homebrew. It's a homebrew-centric show, everybody. Stay tuned. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch
Do
out!
you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5 Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5 Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5 Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5 Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5 Star treatment today.
You're tuned into this session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging around through the break. You know, listen to the sponsors and
nice leak.
support them, or a bad leak. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
Whatever happens.
Hope you stop leaking, because if you haven't, see a doctor. Before we get into the show, great fermentations, everybody. They have the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web, and their staff is some of the best trained in the business in using the Blickman products. They offer top-notch customer service, same-day shipping on many items. Check them out all over the internet, the social media internets, at GR8 Fermentation with our great fermentations.com. Man, speaking of Blickman, we got caught in the elevator a few times with those dudes. Those dudes are crazy, man. The Blickman people, they're nuts. They're John Blickman and Tom, I think.
John Blickman is nuts.
John Blickman is nuts.
It starts with him. Yeah.
I think he's like just inhaling too much, like passivating, like whatever when he's doing the welding, because
too much stainless dust.
His brain is fried. He's a cool dude, man. He hurt his hand or whatever.
Yeah, I saw him. It was all bandaged up.
And I was like, "What did you do, man? You have avocado hand?" And he's so far from the Midwest, he has no idea what that means.
He's only got like 2 fingers in each hand anyway. So. That's already
Oh man, good dudes. I like the Blickman dudes. Their booth is always so cool.
Oh, it's like the future. Yeah,
it's like,
and I love that John is always hanging out in it.
Oh, he
like
loves
he's
it.
just chatting it up, just talking about cool products.
He is like the official everyman of home brewing, of the supplier side. You know what I mean? Like he's just kind of this down to earth little Midwest dude who will tell you a dirty joke and then talk about fermentation geometry.
I was just going to say, by looking at him, you would never know how dirty he actually is.
Well, if you haven't listened to any Brew Strongs, because I think he lets his freak flag fly on that show, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
does. Yes, loud and proud.
But, get stuck in an elevator with those guys. It's a good time. And, it's like their booth is like a big deconstructed disco ball, because there's all the lights all over the stainless, and it's just shiny, and you're like a moth. It's pretty good, man. Okay, here we go. Homebrew information, homebrew show. We have Sean Monahan and Vito Delucci, right? Did I slaughter your names? Probably.
A little bit. Good.
Doesn't matter. It's fine. And you guys won 2 medals. Well, 1 each. I mean, let's not, just calm down. At this year's NHC, which I can say NHC because NHC is the competition. It's not Homebrew Con, which is the convention. Right? I did it. I'm doing all right.
Throwing me off for a while, but yeah.
So, Vito, you won with a silver in your Australian Sparkling Ale, which I didn't even know was like an official style right now.
Yeah, it's pretty new. And
Get right on that. Get right on that, John. Yeah, pull it up. There you go.
Pull
That's
the
right.
mic up.
There you go.
It was actually Keith and I who brewed this together. So Keith, who couldn't make it tonight, Keith Klingler, who works at More Beer with me as well. He's having a child.
Keith Klingler.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like his parents should have called him like Mike.
It was a team beer.
It was a team beer,
Nice.
yeah. So
Okay, that's cool,
He couldn't
man.
make it tonight. He's doing his parenting classes, so I just wanted to give
those suck, dude.
Yeah, you know, I know
hate
too.
them.
Yeah.
Fuck, we walked out on ours.
I think the second child we didn't even go. The first one,
You don't need to.
We walked in halfway through.
Yeah, we're just like, this is stupid, man.
Yeah.
5 hours.
First time though, you gotta give it a chance.
Yes.
And learn about it.
Yeah. Oh, Bev's shaking her fingers.
Best effort.
I did not do that.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Not really.
Well, you don't really you didn't love your child as much as Vito and I love ours.
Probably
It should
not.
be like traffic school. You could have a comedy version or a good craft.
I would go to that.
Good craft beer version, right? Like, who needs a beer? Like,
I'm in on that.
Here's how you do this. You know, don't worry about that. You know,
Let's start. That's
could
an
do our
actual
own.
business.
Yeah.
We could actually do that because let me tell you, the packet that they give out. You know how many dicks I drew all over the babies' heads, and like mustaches and just all sorts of stuff. Like they have massage positions.
And I don't love Abby.
And squatting positions that women can get into, but they have this big thing. And so I just made a whole series of drawings about this is how avocados are made, and they just drop out, and then this is the avocado position where you put your feet up like this, and here's the avocado coming out, and it's a whole thing. We could do it.
Make it a comedy thing. Oh yeah, it worked great. I mean,
in.
you know, if
I
you're
should for that.
certified, you pass. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you're like,
Vito's like, I don't even have a kid.
bonafide,
I don't even have a kid on the way, but I fucking show up for this.
we could do the watermelon and shoot it across the room. That'd be great.
So Vito, let's start with you mainly because we all have a beer in front of us, and
Okay.
you don't have any beer.
No.
So let's get this out of the way before we drink Sean's beer. What is Australian Sparkling Ale? Why did you brew it? And describe the flavor to me right now. Go.
It's a great story on why we brewed it. So Keith was, first of all, the whole club, DOZE, we were trying to put forth the effort to win Club of the Year. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we were trying to just get a bunch of people brewing. Keith hadn't brewed in a while. He was going to brew a pale ale.
Mm-hmm.
So he brewed a pale ale on the Robo Brew at More Beer, and I helped him out with that.
Cool.
And then, we were tasting it, and we're like, man, it's not really a pale ale, and I'm tasting it. I just recently, within the last 2 years, did the BJCP certification, so I was familiar with the styles, especially the Australian Sparkling Ale.
Okay.
And I said, you know what, dude? Enter
Random.
this. I know, super random. I was like, enter this as an Australian Sparkling Ale. So he gets a ribbon in the first round, and then he comes to me and he's like, all right.
Dude, you just decided then after you made the beer. You didn't change the recipe or anything.
No, we did. Yeah, I'm getting to that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
Casey's like, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He created the pale ale recipe, brewed it, and he was like, I'm just not feeling it. What do you think? And I'm like, hey, enter this as an Australian Sparkling Ale. Right. Boom, he gets a ribbon. And then he comes to me and he's like, all right, Vito, now we need to make an Australian Sparkling Ale.
Really?
Make me a recipe, So so then I did some research on it, reached out to Brandon from Australia, another BJCP certified judge, talked a little bit, created the recipe, had Keith come over, brewed it at my house, we did two different versions. We did a split batch with the Burton Ale yeast was the winner, but then we also did the White Labs, the best of both worlds yeast as well. That one was good too, but we ended up going with the Burton because to me that was more of the style. I got the pear esters from the yeast, so that's what we went with.
Okay. What category is Australian Sparkling Ale? I'm trying to look for
category
it.
Here
it is. 12B.
Yeah, English pale ale.
Page 21.
Yeah,
12B.
so that one rolls. It's 12B. So it goes against British Golden Ale, Australian Sparkling Ale, English IPA. This year they also rolled in 11, which is the British Bitter, Ordinary Bitter, Best Bitter, and Strong Bitter. So that's who we were competing against in the second round.
That seems like a pretty heavy category.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked off that. And
Do you know how many entries were in that category?
I don't remember offhand. Look it up.
I wonder if we can figure it out.
That'd be cool. Make me feel good.
No, it's not, they don't have that on the results page.
They don't?
No, I wish they did.
Oh, man, they totally should.
Yeah.
That's too bad. So, overall impression is smooth and balanced. All components merged together with similar intensities. Moderate flavors showcasing Australian ingredients. Large flavor dimension, very drinkable, suited to a hot climate, relies on yeast character. That sounds like half a dozen beers.
Exactly. That
seems hard to nail down.
When he brewed the pale ale, I think he used Galaxy and Citra. So you had that Galaxy. It's all Southern Hemisphere hops. So Galaxy, Nelson is what we used. We also used Dr. Rudy, which was formerly known as Super Alpha.
Okay.
The traditional styles use, I think it's Pride of Ringwood Is
yeah, that's the old ass hop where you read about that in Joy of Homebrewing.
Yeah.
Like that's
I don't know where to get it. We don't
I don't
have
think
it
they do it
beer.
anymore. Yeah.
So we ended up going with Dr. Rudy. I knew about that hop from brewing some other batches with other people.
Yeah.
Did that for the bittering hop, and then Galaxy and Nelson for the aroma. It's very similar, just to like a nice pale ale. Little bit of esters. What's cool or what's different about that is if you read the style guidelines, they say they should have a little turbidity because you're supposed to spin the bottle a little bit before you pour it to rouse the yeast.
Oh, like a Blue Moon.
Or I was going to say like a Sante, Sarah Sellers. You do the Sarah spin, or like a Blue Moon.
Yeah.
So we added a little bit of wheat in there to create that turbidity because we were going to force carb it.
Okay.
So that was kind of the strategy behind that because we're like, we don't know if they're going to spin the bottle or not. So added that little bit of wheat in there to create that turbidity.
I did the style guideline mention that characteristic?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when I created the recipe...
most of the guys that are judging that beer that day, at both levels, probably never had one before.
Probably not. Yeah, it's not a super popular
They're a
style.
slave to what it said there.
Appearance,
exactly. Yeah.
Deep yellow to light amber in color, often medium gold. A tall, frothy, persistent white head with tiny bubbles. Noticeable effervescence due to high carbonation. Brilliant clarity if decanted, but typically poured with yeast to have a cloudy appearance. Not typically cloudy unless yeast rouses during the pour.
So, thinking that they were going to be, like Tasty said, a slave to the style, so we were like, hey, let's add a little bit of wheat in there to create that turbidity.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 3 points appearance, but I want, maximum points.
Yeah, and you never know with the way judging goes. I've talked ad nauseum about my fucked up scores where it says this thing is optional. Toasted oatmeal flavor is optional. And then I get dinged for not having it, but it's optional. So you never know. So I think you probably got it right if you just kind of hit it sort of in the middle, especially for appearance. It's better than going one way or the other.
That was the idea. Yep, definitely.
Is it typically bottle conditioned or?
Typically bottle conditioned.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were forced carbonate, so it was like, all right, add a little bit of wheat to create that turbidity. Cool.
Highly attenuated, dry finish, lingering bitterness. Although the body gives impression of fullness. So it does say. Down where characteristic ingredients: lightly kilned Australian 2-row pale malt.
So we use RAR 2-row for it, and then a little bit of Maris Otter.
So they say 6-row. Did you have any 6-row high protein?
I did not. I love RAR, so I just went with what I know is great.
Is that where that turbidity kind of can come from? Also, would there be 30% higher protein malt? Is what they say.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to compensate for that, just added a little bit of wheat.
Yeah. Traditionally used Australian hops, cluster, and Goldings until replaced from the mid-1960s by Pride of Ringwood, highly attenuated Burton-type yeast.
Yeah, we used the Burton Ale yeast.
Variable water profile.
Which I loved. I've never really used that yeast before that I can remember, and I was stoked off it. Yeah, finished out real dry. Tasted great.
It sounds good, man. I mean, it sounds like right up my alley, honestly. Here's the style comparison. Superficially similar to English pale ales, although much more highly carbonated with less caramel, less late hops, and showcasing the signature yeast strain and hop variety. More bitter than IBUs might suggest due to high attenuation, low final gravity, and somewhat coarse hops, which I've never heard hops described that way. Coarse.
Yeah.
IBUs 20 to 35, SRM 4 to 7, OG. 1038 to 1050. I fucking love that.
We were 1051 on our batch.
What'd you finish at?
1009.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
And how many IBUs?
22 estimated on Beersmith.
Yeah.
So
commercial examples. I love this. Cooper's Original Pale Ale. Cooper's Sparkling Ale.
Which, big shout out to Brandon. He brought a Cooper's Sparkling Ale from Australia on the plane with him, so we were able to do a side-by-side, so that was pretty cool.
What'd you think?
Thanks to Brandon.
So what'd you think? How would you change your approach?
I liked our beer better.
But just flavor-wise.
But their water was definitely more minerally. I think it was... I was going to go for the Burton-on-Trent water profile, but I just didn't feel comfortable going at 700 SO4 levels.
Do you think their water might have been like that?
I think so. Tasting it, I think they're definitely...
All right.
Yeah.
So can you imagine at some point where like the judges get familiar with the style and they calibrate to that beer? You have to actually make something that has that's a pretty distinct characteristic.
Yeah.
You have to make a beer that tastes that bad. I mean, it has that weird flavor, that water flavor.
Right. Yeah, definitely
That's weird.
super minerally. Yeah.
Right now, you're at the beginning where they don't even know what to style.
We don't get it out here.
No,
so.
definitely don't get it out here.
It doesn't exist, right? So,
yeah.
I was going to add on, like we talked about the style and how you might have fit in or not. Really, the trick is to, say I'm in a style. If they can't kick you out, then you just make a really good tasting beer.
Exactly.
Because what it comes down to in your category
Yep.
is like, what's better, this sparkling ale or this bitter over here that this other guy likes, and then finally that's how you get awarded your silver medal.
Yeah, and that's when we were tasting them. That's why I was like, man, this is just a good fucking beer. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was like, the other one with the other yeast was it might have fit the style guidelines a little bit more when we were reading them. We brought over a bunch of friends, BJCP judges, and we're testing the split batches, and it came down to like, this is just a better beer. Let's just put the better beer. The other one might taste better, taste more like the style guidelines read. But let's put the better fucking beer.
If you're a judge,
and Keith was like, "No, I want to go the other way," but I was like, "No, trust me, buddy."
No. If you're a judge, it's hard to like kick a beer around for being almost out of style when you're saying, "I freaking love the beer."
Yes.
So you just throw all that away. That doesn't matter anymore. It's just a really good beer.
Absolutely.
If somebody can make this over and over again, it'd be a contribution to the hobby and to the industry.
Yeah, and I think it goes beyond the classic. Oh, this is a great beer. I would buy a pint of this, like the de facto thing that every judge
overall
writes on their
impressions.
Yeah, I would pay for this beer because it's like because that means something. It doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of bad beer that people pay for, but sorry. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Put the best beer forward as long as it's within the style guidelines. Yeah. Mostly, if it tastes good and there's no glaring errors, why wouldn't that's what you do? Mm-hmm. You got to make a good tasting beer because at the end of the day, there's somebody with taste buds that are drinking this beer. You're judging it to these styles, but it still has to be good. It can't be terrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
It can't be terrible.
And when you compete, another it's a good thing to do is like put yourself at the high end of the style, like be at the higher end of the gravity wise and. Now, your category is special in that it has like a lot of variability, but in a lot of the other categories, like you want to stand out. And porters, you can put more flavor in your beer at the higher end of it, and arguably you might be over, but they can't discern that. So.
Yeah, depending where you are in the flight, for sure, you want to stand out, and if you're first, or if you're last, you definitely want to be able to kind of have that. Yeah.
If you got, say, for instance, you got a 6.2% IPA, somebody else has a 7.5. Yours is going to be like, oh, wow, that's a lot more going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's like, but the better beer might be the lighter beer, but it usually doesn't win.
Well, let's give us your recipe if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see. I got it up here.
Because it's something we don't really talk about hardly ever.
Yeah.
Even like Brendan and Craig when they come here, they don't talk about Australian beer. They just give us Tim Tams and then fuck off somewhere and just leave.
Kangaroo ball size.
Well, Peter Simons knows a lot about the sparkling ale.
Was that the guy? So at the BN party, I was super stoked. I had a couple beers in me at that point, but the guy, and I don't remember his name, sorry, I apologize on air, came up to me. He's like, I wrote the style guidelines for the Australian sparkling ale. I sent a picture to my mate because it was the first time that this style had meddled in the United States. And so we ended up chatting for a while, and that was really cool to meet the dude who wrote the style guidelines with it. And
that sounds like Peter.
Definitely sounds like Peter.
White beard?
Yes. Yeah, that could have been it. Brandon brought him over to me, and we started chatting it up.
Yeah. They were wandering around all day together.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's written a few books.
Super. Yeah.
And he has another one coming.
Oh, okay. That's definitely a dude. Yeah, I mean, because
Peter's
talked about his book.
Dude.
Yeah, we had a great time. Yeah, it was awesome, and I was stoked because he was stoked. Off Australian sparkling ale.
I'm trying to get him to do a show on the Brewing Network. I'm trying to get him his own show.
He should.
Really?
That's what I'm trying to do. I talked to him about it. I was like, bro, podcast, because he's retiring soon. He's like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, go around and dig around musty old books and drink a lot of beer. I'm like, you should do a podcast. He's like, huh.
Dude, I really think this Australian sparkling ale will kill it. I mean, it is what we're drinking in the United States as pale ales, essentially. Especially
is it really?
I mean, it's Galaxy,
I mean, sort of.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, a little different, but damn close, to what a lot of us like as pale ales right now.
You're killing me. You didn't bring in the beer.
I know. Well, the reason...
I know the reason is it's so fucking drinkable. You drank it all.
Well,
I can't blame you.
It was the second keg to tap at our DOZE booth on Club Night. So that I brought the whole beer up to Club Night. So none made its way back to Portland.
Which is what you would do.
Well, that's a win. You can't.
Our whole idea was we want to have the beers pouring that are hopefully going to win. So we put a bunch of beers into. We did club night, and then we also did a social hour pouring, and a lot of those beers we had 37 entries that moved on to the second round.
Wow!
So we didn't have all 37 of those pouring, but we had probably like 10 or 12 of them pouring that.
Just quite a few.
That night,
that's pretty good.
The DOZE club night, it was just the beers one after the other were just great.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah. Killer night. Okay, recipe.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's go.
So, do you want to do percentages? Right? Because that's probably better than...
Sure. That's easy, Whatever you want.
Okay, so where are we at? 60% pale malt, which is two-row raw. 27% Maris Otter. 9% white wheat. And then 2% Carapils dextrin. And then hops... Ready? We got Dr. Rudy is the boiling hop, 60-minute. Contributes 9.2% or 9.2 IBUs. Galaxy at 5 minutes, 4.3%, which is 1 ounce. It was a half ounce Dr. Rudy, 1 ounce Galaxy, then 2 ounces of Galaxy and 2 ounces of Nelson at Whirlpool. And that is it. And then
that's pretty basic.
So you went to weights on the hops. What's the batch size?
Batch size was 12 gallons because we split batched it. We did 5 and 5 or 6 and 6.
But I mean, the boiled hot side was 12.
Yeah, it was 12.
All the hops in it.
Yep, exactly. So all the hops and no dry hop. We didn't go any dry hop on that, but it was all Galaxy, Dr. Rudy, and Nelson. 9% or 9.2 IBUs, Dr. Rudy. 4.3 IBUs, Galaxy at the 5-minute edition, and then the Whirlpool was 2 ounces and 2 ounces, Galaxy and Nelson.
Nice.
Yeah, good hops. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, and ferment time like normal, like the burnt nail?
Burnt nail. Let's see. Fermented, I think we knocked out at like 63 and then set the temp at 67. So it rised up to that and held it to that. Then did a 7D diacetyl rest for 2-3 days and then cold crashed. And that was pretty much it. Yeah. Pretty standard fermentation.
Standard ale fermentation.
Yeah, standard ale fermentation.
Cool.
And then we were going to dry hop, or we were thinking about dry hopping, but it was like, I don't think it really needs much anything else at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if you're going to style. I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere in the thing. I do like the history on it. Brewing records show that the majority of Australian beer brewed in the 19th century was draft XXX, which gets me excited, but it just means mild, apparently. And porter, ale in bottle, was originally developed to compete with imported bottled pale ales from British breweries, such as Bass and W.M. Younger Monk. By the early 20th century, bottled pale ale went out of fashion, and lighter lager beers were in vogue. I think it's pretty cool. Many Australian sparkling pale ales were labeled as ales, but were actually bottom-fermented lagers, with very similar grists to the ales that they have replaced. Coopers of Adelaide, South Australia, is the only surviving brewer producing the sparkling ale style. So they were just taking a pale ale recipe and lagering it, and that's, I mean, I guess to, I don't know, make it more drinkable, because lagers, you could argue, they're kind of a little bit more drinkable.
Yeah, it totally reminded me of a pale ale. Just a really good drinking pale ale.
What did you ferment it at? I'm sorry, you said, but I didn't pay attention.
Knocked out, or 62, pitched the yeast, but then set the temp at 67, so let it just rise itself up to that. Yeah,
okay.
So, 62,
a little
63.
cool, but...
A little cool to pitch, but I mean, it was up to that, within probably 6 hours or something like that.
That's not bad, man.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Are you going to enter it next year, too? You kind of got to.
Yeah, maybe it's a thing now, yeah. I got to do a sparkling ale now.
You're just right on this thing. It's a weird name for kind of what it is.
I was thinking Foster's at first, but it has nothing to do with Foster's.
No, not at all, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, that's cool, man. I wish you had some.
Would Foster's fit into the category with the style?
No, it wouldn't. That's, originally when I was like, researching it, I was thinking, Foster's. No, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, just the commercial examples are Cooper's and Cooper's. Cooper's Original Pale Ale and Cooper's Sparkling Ale, which now that I realize, how are they both commercial examples of the style when they literally have two different style designations?
That's a good question.
Cooper's Original Pale Ale, I wonder if it's really just the same beer.
So Brandon no, they're not.
Okay.
Brandon brought out a pale ale from Cooper's, and he brought the sparkling. There was definitely a difference there. I'm trying to remember what the difference was.
So do you think they both fit into the style description?
I wonder. I mean,
what JB's telling us.
That's what it says.
I mean, I don't know.
But it's.
Well,
I think it's interesting as to like how wide the thing is, because the overall impression seemed like it's a beer and it's highly carbonated.
So what makes them the same?
I want to say
I understand
good
what makes
question.
them different. What makes them the same? The yeast?
I don't know.
Or the
I want to say the pale was a little more balanced towards the malt, where the sparkling was kind of right in the middle. It was malt and hops. Yeah, I liked the pale personally probably a little better than the sparkling from Cooper's when I tried the two.
All right.
But you could the sparkling was minerally as hell. Yeah, it was definitely
really.
Yeah, the water was, and I don't know how fresh it was. It came over in an airplane, so that was it was real fresh, the best conditions that I could probably receive it in.
Yeah.
But when was it brewed? I don't remember checking like the bottle date or anything like that.
Well, it'd be upside down anyway, so you would.
I can't. The toilets go backwards. Yeah.
You would never know.
Yeah, I'm sure Brandon. He didn't bring you stale beer.
No, he didn't bring me stale beer.
No, that's
a good
for sure.
Dude. Yeah.
Well, I think that's interesting that you guys kind of made this beer without really having
nothing to go by,
yeah.
Other than what we've read in the BJCP style guidelines.
Which I think is a testament to the BJCP style
guidelines. You read the beer
guidelines.
first, then you read the style guidelines.
Yes.
That's the key thing here. Is like,
to see where it matched, right?
Well, so Keith brewed the beer.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was like, hey, that is probably more in this style guidelines. Then he entered it, and then he was like, all right, now you got to brew a real Australian sparkling ale. And then we created a new recipe.
Through the first round is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So he entered in the first round, went through, and then he starts puckering.
Yeah.
It's
but
like now
you know your styles.
Yeah.
That's
well, he knows one style.
I know one style.
He knew where to put it.
Hey, I got my little certificate that says certified.
He's on the top of his game, the best one in the national competition.
Yeah, apparently.
The guy who took first didn't make that style.
Nope. Yeah.
That is pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool, and
very exciting. Yeah.
I think that's what you have to do when you're a home brewer, and we've talked about this before on Show Tasty, where sometimes it's not what you intend to brew, it's what category it fits best in.
Absolutely.
And that's the key to winning some of these styles. That because as we grow the styles and we have more come out and they kind of get more obtuse and I don't know, elongated or whatever, you can kind of fit a lot of different things within it. Most style, not most, but there's a few that kind of can bridge that gap. So
and then again,
you have to play that game.
Especially, I noticed in the national competition, they've compressed a lot of categories.
Yeah, they roll them up. Yep.
So now it's almost like a best of show when there's like varying styles being judged.
Anybody
just making a good tasting beer is going to be your best option just in general.
No matter what.
Anybody who's hyper competitive and
Freshest
competes at
flavors.
that level knows to maximize your entries and say, hey, this could fit into this style, this could fit into that style, and enter them into both, if not, all of them.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
definitely the way to play that game.
Well, hey, look, if you're a commercial brewer and you're planning on submitting beer to JABF, maybe Australian Sparkling Ale, maybe Australian Pale Ale, you never know. Maybe they're the same thing. As you're preparing your next medal-winning recipe, send some of your finished beers to White Labs for their next big QC day and save on a bundle of analytical services. All you need to do is purchase a big QC day test kit before August 6th and get your samples submitted before August 20th. White Labs will test your big beers for IBUs, alcohol content, calories, attenuation, and more. To learn more about this great cost-saving program, visit whitelabs.com/bigqcday. Don't worry about what's happening with your beer. Test it. I would have said know it, but, that's just me. Well, Vito, again, man, I'm disappointed that you don't have any beer, but I trust that it was really good. I'm also kind of disappointed you didn't wear your medal in.
Oh, sorry.
That's
really?
Kind of a bummer, dude.
I'd be so making fun of him.
Well, I would too, but I mean, well,
I might have wore it that night, but that was about it.
I think didn't I see it at BNA 13?
Yeah,
wearing
kissed it.
No, everybody that won one at BNA 13, he wore it.
Yeah.
I gave him some little shit there.
Whose phone is?
Mike gave me shit. That's me. Sorry.
It's you, Vito.
I gave him a little shit there.
As
I would have been wearing it if I'd won it. So.
Right? Yeah,
I would
get mad at me for that.
I'm serious. I would have worn it tonight.
So,
we're talking about this medal I got. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a thing.
The first time I won a medal, I wasn't there. So this time I was there, so I got to enjoy.
Oh, that's a thrill, man.
Right? So I had to live it up.
How was that? Was everyone booing you?
Everyone was booing me, yeah.
Your whole club was like, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
He brewed a pale ale. Asshole.
No, we were all stoked. It was a good time, yeah.
How was managing carbonation? Because that style definitely needs to be higher carbonated. How did you...
4 bars. No. It was like 3.5. You want it carbonated as hell, yeah.
So the sparkling comes to the carbonation level?
The sparkling, yes, definitely. Yeah.
Not as clarity. I mean, obviously...
right, there's turbidity, right?
Yeah, a little turbidity in there.
3.5, because Coors Light's 2.8.
Yeah, so it was highly carbonated.
Wow,
yeah.
And then, but how do you? I mean, how do you bottle it as a home brewer? How do you bottle something that
counter pressure filler from More Beer, baby?
Yeah, that's how you did it.
It's the only way you do it. Yeah,
wear safety goggles.
Yeah, wear safety goggles. You put a lot of pressure. So you pop your bottles in the freezer first, right? You got to make them super cold.
Colder than the beer.
Colder than the beer. I want them freezing where they're about to break.
Okay.
Pull them on out. You know, luckily my wife is a great helper. She grabs the bottles.
Oh, helper!
I back pressure fill them. You know, just put a ton of CO2 on top of that, and then just slow and long. It takes a little while to fill something that carbonated. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, just cold bottles and a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Okay.
And you got the right fill level and capped on foam and all that.
Yep, capped on foam. Excellent. Yeah, love that counter pressure filler from More Beer. Yep.
Did you find that the judges' comments were helpful or right on? Or?
That's a good question. We don't have the score sheets back yet, so we do not know as of yet. Keith and I talked this morning. He has not received the second round score sheets yet. So they said by the 13th. So
okay.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see those tasting notes.
What about the first round?
First round we got it scored a 39 in the first round and a 42 in the second round.
Wow.
God, I do not remember the tasting notes off the top of my head, though.
Yeah. But generally, I mean...
It went to this region... He went to Sacramento. He was in Sacramento region.
Okay.
For that beer, yeah.
I feel like that's a good region.
Yeah.
This is what I try to do whenever I used to enter. But I'm above that now.
You want to join DOZE?
Yeah, I've never quit DOZE, really.
All right.
But I never paid my...
We never quit on you, JB.
Thank you. I never paid my dues because I was just working at More Beer. It was just, that was a thing,
just
right?
part of it, yeah.
But anyway... is to find a region that doesn't really know a whole lot. It kind of play both sides, right? Like I feel like the Sacramento region doesn't know shit about British style ales or Australian sparkling ale, so it'd be like, oh, I don't know, and then I feel like they would read the guidelines a little more closely.
They should, yeah.
Versus if
you're judging something you don't know about, right?
Yeah, or like if you send like an IPA to any region in the West Coast at all, I feel like everyone's just a smart ass and they think they know what the style's about. So they go, oh, well, there's here's a 25 year, fuck that shit, and really it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's me.
Yeah, no, it's so just to kind of go off that on the region whole thing. So our club, we sent to all 12 regions. We had, God, I don't know how many. We had 37 beers go on, but we sent to every single region. So we really got a good idea of regional tastes and how what their scoring is like. So it's cool to look at the data that came back from this year's first round.
Are you guys analyzing it and going to release it?
We've got
never enter in this sub region right here, the sub Michigan region. Never do it.
We've got some great members of the club that are doing exactly that and gearing up for next year.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
nerds.
We're coming for you, Quaff.
Yeah, every club needs nerds, man. Especially data nerds like that.
We definitely got some nerds.
All right.
I got a 20-sided die in my back pocket.
I am a 20-sided die. Let me see. We're going to take a break here real fast. But before we do, Neshaminy Creek, everybody, has been on the Philly beer map since 2012. They just recently took home their 4th Philly Beer Scene Magazine Award for Brewer of the Year, and 3rd for Brewery of the Year. 2-time GABF Vienna-style lager medal winner, 2013 gold and 2016 bronze, and also a bronze for their smoked lager in 2016. They have a large, expanded, and recently renovated tap room with 24 beers on tap, 18 of which are rotated and seasonal limited beers. They have a variety of styles, which I love, from hoppy double IPAs to sessionable and poundable lagers to oak-fermented saisons and sour beers. Check them out, NeshaminyCreekBrewing.com. Whenever you're in Philly, go to Neshaminy Creek. Jeremy over there will greet you with open arms and probably a hug, maybe a little bit longer of a hug than is necessary. But that's how they do them, Johns, over in Philly. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to drink Sean's barley wine and talk about American barley wine. with the bronze medal winner, NHC. Hang on, we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, they're amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer. Whether for yourself or as a gift, when you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
This is Corey King from Side Project Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
Hey, everybody. About to get into some American Barleywine, but, of course, I want to tell you guys about cool sponsor Branding Brews. You sweat and toil over creating exceptional beer, but the Craft Brew Creative will assure that your branding reflects the outstanding craft. They take the time to understand your vision through a straightforward and results-driven process. The result is something tangible that will make you proud of your brewery brand and feel confident in your market. Logo design, branding strategy, websites, labels, and tap handles are just a few services Craft Brew Creative excels in. Because of Craft Brew Creative's great relationship with the Brewing Network, they will offer 15% off of your first design or branding project, good for up to $300 in savings. Go to craftbrewcreative.com for details and mention the Brewing Network for your savings. Craftbrewcreative.com. Elevate your craft brand. Bev, it's always nice to see you it's always nice to see you when you have a handful of beer and glasses. I appreciate that a lot. And she said I was welcome. I like that. Thank you, Beverly. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Someone who's desperately been trying to get a hold of everybody. And he's been on the show a couple of times before, and you've definitely seen him at every Spring Brews Fest that we've ever done in our entire lives. And let's see if he picks up the phone. And he's not going to pick up the phone. Paul Brown. There he is. Oh, Paul Brown.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, dude? Paul.
Hello there.
Hi.
Yes.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're just chatting with Vito and Sean, and apparently been blowing Vito's spot up, and so and our phones don't work, I guess. This is JP, by the way, in case you didn't know. I guess our phones don't work, and so
888-401-BEER is not answering.
It's not answering. So,
no, it's like saying it's disconnected.
It's disconnected.
Oh yeah.
Gotta pay the bills.
Oh, that stack
right.
of bills over there. I bet it's one of those.
So Begbo gave me your phone number, and I called you up and said hi, my friend.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is
Here
good.
in San Diego. I wish I was up there, maybe.
San Diego. What are you doing out there? Going to tiki bars? Man, there's tons of tiki bars down there, bro.
From Portland to San Diego.
You got too much free time, Brian.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, what are you, retired?
He's semi-retired.
Half semi.
Half, right? Yeah. He's got some deal. Well, you can explain it, Paul. Whatever.
Man, do yourself a favor. Don't go to any brewery down there. Just go to tiki bars.
Tiki bars?
Yeah, just do that.
I'm sitting in the backyard of my daughter's and husband's house. It looks like a tiki bar.
There's a pool there, right?
There's a pool.
Hell yeah. Well, so why were you trying to get? Why were you trying to get on, man? Didn't you win something? Did you win an award? You didn't win an award. Did you win an award?
Second place.
What? For what?
International Dark Lager.
What's an international? First of all, congratulations. That's cool. What's an international dark lager?
You know, kind of like Dos Equis Dark.
Oh.
Only better, you know.
Only better.
What are the classic examples for that style? Is Dos Equis
international dark lager? Yeah, is Dos Equis like the John?
You mean I got to look up the?
No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do a goddamn thing,
that.
Paul.
Paul, what kind of score did you get in the first round? How many points did they rate your beer?
42.
Very nice.
In the first round, jeez. What'd you get in the second?
Well, they got.
Well, them got
I don't know yet.
You don't even know
to
this.
be determined.
Vito knows his score.
You can get your score sheets, or not your score sheets, but you can know your final score. You just got to put /final, all capitals, and you could look at your score.
I did not know that.
I feel like we're going to be at the library, like everyone's waiting to use the computer.
Hey, Paul.
Fun fact: you can find it the night before.
Yeah, Paul. Those guys that gave you the 42. What did they say about your beer? What did they like about it?
They would drink a pint of it.
Classic. Commercial examples of international dark lager are Baltica No. 4 original, Devil's Backbone, Old Virginia Dark, which is not an attractive name, Dixie Black and Voodoo, which has been around forever, St. Pauli Girl Dark.
That's my jam.
San Miguel Dark, Session Black Dark Lager, and Shinerbach.
Shinerbach.
That's the last one. Usually the one at the end is the least classic example, right?
Less flavor and richness than a Munich Dunkel, Schwarzbier, or other dark lagers. Frequently uses adjuncts as typical for other international lagers.
Paul did have adjuncts. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Paul, did your beer taste like any of those listed? Is it more like Shinerbach, or is it more like St. Pauli Girl Dark?
It probably tastes better, you know. Cause,
I mean, what?
Well, because I made it and it's homebrew.
That's right.
No, but like, is it? 42. Were you why that style? Just while we have you, were you trying to peg one of those classic beers, or you just like the idea? Do you go through the guidelines?
Our club is going through, like, brew something you don't normally brew something that not everybody enters. So it's like, okay, I could do this one. It's the first time I brewed this style, so, you know.
Oh, and you want to sell? Wow. Are you going to keep brewing it? Is this now going to be your pocket beer, like Vito with his Australian sparkling ale? Like he's going to be the master
That's his pocket beer now?
Yeah. He's the expert.
That's what JP said.
He's the expert in 12B, and you're the expert in 2C. It's just that's what you guys are going to be known for.
Yeah, I was the expert in, like, 1A, but they changed.
Cream ale.
They put cream ale in another category.
That's right.
So
did you? I know you won in the first round with your cream ale. Did you ever win in the second round?
Yeah,
you did. Okay, cool.
I've never won. This is my first medal.
Oh, first medal at all?
Oh, wow. Well,
yeah.
Hey, congrats,
it's
man.
Like, after getting like in the second round, like 8 years, 10 years, whatever. It's like finally I get a medal.
So you're saying there's hope for me because I can't clear the second round to save my fucking life, man.
It's tough.
It is tough,
it
man.
Is tough.
Congratulations.
One day I'll walk that stage like you guys did.
You get the award for perseverance.
I got.
That was pretty good. I mean, I told my wife Denise, it's like I just got to win a medal, and then I'm done with competing.
You're not done.
And then I win a medal.
No, you're not done.
Now you're really retiring.
Like, oh wait.
I
need the gold. I need the gold medal.
Don't look at that.
And we need to get Club of the Year in Rhode Island.
You told Denise, you're like, oh no, I said gold medal. I didn't just say any arbitrary medal.
Paul, do you remember how many beers were in your category that you competed against, just roughly? Or remember when they
like 190 something.
Right, so you were second place in 190 beers. I mean,
that's pretty good, dude.
Those other 187 guys go like, look, I'll take a second India, thank you. I mean, to me, those last three spots are just, to me, all the same. And it's a shame that in the competition, for instance, they weigh those so heavily. And really, they're just like fine definitions of what the cream looks like.
Yeah.
I don't like that scoring mechanism.
I don't like it either.
I don't either.
God damn it.
It's the best we got.
Finishing in fourth place after all these years.
Well, hey, what if
I get second place, right?
What if they change the format? So, like, this club advances like 5 beers, the second round. This one does 2, this one does 1, and they have one more bottle, and then they go to like a best of show kind of format where
electoral college for clubs.
Exactly. Whatever. I'm just saying that it's, and then the membership size has a whole other dimension to the club.
All right, Paul. Well, hey, we'll let you go. I'm telling you, I would never lead you astray. Tiki bars over breweries any day. You've had plenty of beer. You've had plenty of beer.
I'm having some now, so you know.
What are you drinking, Paul? What are you drinking?
An IPA.
Yes.
Are you having? But he's having some of his beer, his winning beer.
I have.
Oh,
see,
Vito, he has his winning beer.
You have a woman on your lap. What are you doing?
We didn't pour it at club night?
I had only bottles left. I have like 4 bottles. I brought one down here.
Well, enjoy your time, homie, and we'll see you, I don't know, whatever event we do next.
Well, I'm off a lot, so maybe I'll come by.
Please do. You're always welcome. All right, Paul Brown, thanks, dude. And congrats on your medal, man.
Care, guys.
If you were in town, you would have been on the show, too.
I would be.
You'd have brought that dark lager.
Nice down here.
Have fun. Say hi to Denise.
All right, dude.
All right.
Later, man.
Bye.
See you, Paul.
Bye. I like Paul. Paul's a good dude, man. He's super nice. Denise is super nice. Man, I tell you, Denise has like some Etsy shop or whatever, and she makes like burp cloths and she makes all this stuff. They gave me so many burp cloths. They're the best burp cloths for this child I've ever experienced. Like, we have like tons of them, and the ones that she made are the only ones that we go for. Anyway. All right, Sean.
Sir.
Let's talk about American Barleywine.
Let's do it.
Yep.
First of all, how long have you been... I feel like this is like a Dr. Homebrew crossover.
Whatever.
How long have you been homebrewing, sir?
Let's see, probably like 6 or 7 years, but first few years were, I probably brewed like 2 or 3 batches a year, so it counts. But yeah, a little more serious in the last like 4.
What happened? Did you have a kid? Get married?
Totally. Yeah, I needed an escape. Anything to get out of the garage.
I'm in the garage. It's my time.
It's serious business.
Yeah. I have friends.
It's a home hobby.
You wouldn't understand it.
Exactly, something like that. But yeah, then I got more into it. So didn't compete all that much, but getting a little more into that now, and just having fun with it, man.
Cool. That's good, man. You got to have fun with it, especially a hobby like homebrewing. Oh, he didn't have to come in. I didn't want you to like strong arm him, Bevo.
Well, I did.
Matt Sanger, everybody. How you doing, buddy? Here, get on the John.
Hey,
man. I saw Matt come in. I was like, hey, Bev, why don't you see if Matt wants to come on? Matt, home brewer and a craft brewer for Danville Brewing Company.
Greetings.
Greetings, Earthling. And not too well known yet, but Matt is going to be one of the reoccurring judges on Dr. Homebrew moving forward. Yeah, you are. Keith is unfortunately moving to Oklahoma, so it's going to be Brian and I. We're going to bring in some alternating judges, and Matt said that he would be willing to come in and be an alternate.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So
this is perfect. We're doing a version of that show right now.
Yeah.
So you'll just kind of be like a driver.
This is exactly what it is. So I saw him. I was like, "This is going to be great. Give him some mic time. Well, it'll be a good time." So we're talking American Barleywine.
Theme song.
Cool.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? First of all, we had Paul Brown on just now, and I told him, and I want you to back me up on this. I said, don't go to a single brewery down there. Go to all the tiki bars. He's in San Diego.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Man.
Thank you very much. Now get that mic a little closer to you.
I agree with you guys. The tiki bars are freaking awesome.
There you go.
But I like beer.
I drove Vito to a tiki bar in
Matt
Portland.
took me to, what was it?
Holly Pele.
Holly Pele was fucking awesome, man.
That's a good place. And Martin had better pay me for this, man. I keep plugging his spot, and it's good.
It was nice to take a break from beers.
Then that's really
I'll
what it
give
is,
you guys
man.
that.
That's just you just taking a break. That's all.
It was fucking
From beers to overly sweet.
I was going to say, how many flaming drinks was that?
Dude,
have a flaming mo.
It's awesome. Yeah.
He should make a flaming mo. Anyway, so why barley wine, man? Just because you want to get hammered?
Just because, yeah. I mean, Bigfoot fan. I'm sure a lot of people like Bigfoot. That's how they got introduced to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to try mess around with something a little bit bigger, and always liked the style, so I thought I'd just take a run at it. And I pilfered a recipe from a guy named Gordon Strong. I don't know.
Never heard of that.
Yeah,
Never.
I'd look at that with it.
He's
Hack.
Suspect, I know.
He sounds really handsome, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But yeah, I just took a run at it. Thought, should be fun. So it turned out. What can I say?
And have you ever made a barley wine before? Was this your first try at it?
First
really?
One. Yeah.
God damn, man. What's with you guys? Paul, Vito, you, first time making beer, you meddle. You make it sound real easy.
It is easy. I say it again. Just make a great tasting beer. I mean, how much...
that's easier said than done, right?
How much is... What percent of making a good beer is recipe, and what percent is like everything else? Like
process, definitely.
Percentages controlling the temperatures on the hot side and the temperatures on the cold side, your packaging, your cellaring, your timing, your presentation. It's most all the rest of the stuff that are, if you pay attention to it, you can make good beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's. I mean, I speak for like the 98% of homebrewers out there that think they do pay attention to that, or in fact do, but there's that missing ingredient, there's that missing element, and that's where the recipe, I think, comes in. You can be clean, and you can do, like, I know with my own like oatmeal stout, which I'm realizing is not a stout, and I'm going to stop trying to make it happen. It's just a porter. I'm never going to get into the second round, or never going to win a medal. I can get in the second round with it, but I'm never going to do it because my recipe isn't there. But everything's clean.
You think it's the recipe?
I do. I really think it's the recipe.
So, what about spiking it with something and doing like spice or vegetable or something like that?
Yeah, I've thought about doing like nib. I've done nib before, but lately I just haven't.
My stout recipe is very much like a porter too.
Yeah,
and I do better in those categories when I split the batch and add something to it. So something for you to think about.
Well, no, if I make a beer and it's not what I want, I taste it or have other people have better taste than I do.
You make it again?
And then I adjust it and make it again. The whole trick is to be able to make the same process, same cooperage, same sort of thing to make, so you know what the recipe did.
The cleaner your process is after you've made the wort, the better you can pick apart where you need to change the recipe.
So JP needs to change his recipe, is what we're saying, because he's not in the style guidelines. But if you like that beer, I don't know.
Well, that's what I've like wrestled with, right? I'm brewing what I like, and then if it wins, it wins. But then I get really depressed when it does. Not really depressed, but I get pissed when it doesn't win. I turn table. That's why they don't do the banquet anymore, because I flip a fucking table. I go, fuck that shit, and I flip a table.
I just crawl into a closet. And
I'm more on the closet, fetal position myself.
I just get on the table in fetal position. That's just what. But actually, Matt, you bring up an interesting point of view on that. Is if you're not clean and you have some off flavors, it's not enough to get rid of them. I think I'm paraphrasing or expanding or one of the two. Sure. But they are getting in the way of the flavors that are from your recipe.
Right.
And so if you're not clean, cold side, you're not going to be able to determine what you need to change because you have some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, you've got diacetyl or acetaldehyde or whatever, yeah.
And repeatability, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Is someone's phone on?
Not mine. I turned it off.
Tasty?
We're good.
Sure? Sounds weird. Sounds like a children's show.
What is that?
It's your phone.
It is.
It's a pop-up. You're on Pornhub, and you're trying to, like, that stupid, like, once you hit the next page and the pop-up comes up, and, find horny singles in your area. Tasty's like, I know them all. It's,
I don't know.
It's fine.
I've been through that crowd.
Yeah, I got him in my contacts
That's
list.
one I hadn't found before. I bookmarked that real quick.
Yeah. New ones, new alert. No, it's still going.
What? I tried to power off my phone.
There it goes. Don't kill me. I'm a sentient being in your pocket.
Mind of itself.
So your first try at the barley wine. Did you bring it to the club meeting and were people like, "Hey, you really need to enter this," or were you brewing it to actually enter into the?
I wasn't thinking about
NHC?
competition at the time, so yeah, I brewed this, and then I didn't have a good place to. I didn't want to bottle it right away because I wanted to force carb it.
Okay.
So I just left it in the keg and literally just stuck it in the back of my fridge for like a year. And I'm thinking,
okay,
what am I going to do with this thing? I didn't have a good place to that was good cellar temperature, so I figured, all right, I'm just going to stick it in the back of the fridge and think about what I want to do. Forgot about it for a year. And then about a year after I bottled it up, and then I found out my crawl space is actually a pretty good cellar temperature, so I bottled it up, stuck it under there. 6 months later, cracked it open and started trying it, and it was pretty good. So I said, all right, this is going to NHC, and we're going to see what happens. So,
nice. Did you bring it to the club and get any feedback at all, or you just said, forget those dudes?
Yeah, I did, and then I think what happened was I took it in right after I'd bottled it.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been so cold, conditioning, bulk aging in the keg. I don't think it developed much. So once I bottled it, I took it in, and it was pretty sharp on the bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol wasn't like hot, but it was still a little bit forward. But I mean, even 6 months made a difference. So once I sat on it for 6 months in the bottles, and I was thinking, it's definitely worthy of submission.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So it's a year and a half old?
This is a year and a half old. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess when I entered it, it was more like, I could kind of see where it was going. I was like, all right, this thing's going to be all right.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at is especially for a style like American Barleywine, which is supposed to be hop forward but not hot alcohol. I think you can have some alcohol warmness, which of course it's what it is. It's a barley wine. But how do you gauge that timeline? You know what I mean? Is a year? Yeah, but you want it. But like, let's say you want to enter it in NHC, which I think first round is like March. When do you brew a beer like this? When would you brew a beer like this?
You're not July. You need barley wines in July.
Yeah,
for the next spring's competitions.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not even thinking about competition when you're brewing a beer like this.
Yeah, I mean, it could
American barley wine for sure.
Right.
You could probably get away with.
You're just brewing it to
3
brew
to 6
it.
months.
I brewed it to brew it, and when I got to a year and 4 months or whenever I submitted it, I was just thinking it's good enough to submit, but is it going to get better in a year? It might. When's it going to hit peak? I have no idea. That's one of the fun things about these beers.
Sometimes it's a happy accident. You're digging through your fridge and you see these bottles, and you pop one open and this is an old beer, but it's great. I'm going to enter this.
For sure.
Got some entries.
Because it does say in the guidelines, noticeable alcohol presence, but well integrated, and that's I think the key. It can't stand out. It can't be too hot. It has to be merged in the beer, in the other flavors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I paid really close attention to the ferment on this one for that reason, because I just everyone says number one flaw barley wine is pretty much hot alcohol. If you don't have the right pitch, if you don't have the good temperature control, all that stuff, you're toast. You're not, it's over before it starts. So I was really careful about that. I think I ran this thing, it was like 64 degrees, so pretty cool.
Okay.
And kept it cool for a couple weeks before I let it ramp. And I think that's what helped me out big time on the alcohol, because I think it's there, but it doesn't punch you in the face.
What about pitching rate and oxygenation? Did you oxygenate just once, or did you do it a second time?
Yeah, that was the other part of it. So I didn't have a liquid yeast that I didn't have a flask I could build up to a really huge starter with liquid. So I went with just USO5, and I did 3 packs.
Wow.
And, depending on the math and who you listen to about how many viable cells are in a pack of USO5, it seems to vary a little bit.
Yeah.
But I felt that I was pretty safe with that. And then I did oxygenate the hell out of it. So I gave it 90 seconds when I pitched, And then 12 hours later, I gave it another 60 seconds of oxygen. And I
staggered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, and everything was just, as it was getting rolling, you could tell that, I built an army. And they were ready to do the job. So.
It was going well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the ferment kicked off pretty aggressively?
Yeah, and it wasn't quick, obviously, because the dry yeast tends to take a good 24 hours-ish, at least in my experience. But once it got going, it got a nice big krausen on it, but not crazy. It
wasn't blowing off.
Blowing off. I think that's part of keeping it a lower temperature.
Yeah.
And,
what was your OG?
So this one was 1110.
Wow.
So yeah, I was up there. And
did you say you didn't make a starter?
No, not on the dry. I don't know.
That doesn't sound like anything I would want to enter NHC. Like, if in my mind, I would already have gone, well, this is going to be a good beer for me to make or for me to drink at home, but it's not going to be competition worthy. Did you feel that way? Were you concerned?
Just because it was dry?
Just not just because it was dry. Because I didn't make a starter, and I've always heard that no matter what, make a starter, especially with the barley wine. With the barley wine, you need to make a giant just a ripper.
Like a 5 liter. I didn't have a flask that was gigantic, so I was like.
In my mind, I wouldn't have even done it. I wouldn't have even made the stupid thing. But you went ahead and did it. Were you concerned at all about that, or
I was just thinking I was going to get the cell count with the amount of packs I was pitching.
Right? 2 years ago, I'd had the same reaction you're having, JP.
Yeah.
But what I'm paying more attention to dry yeast and the success people are having, I've switched. I'm kind of going wow, that's interesting.
People are sleeping on dry yeast.
I'm surprised, but not that surprised that you got a good ferment out of that sort of thing.
And never make a decision until you have all the answers. Don't going into it if you didn't want to enter it, but then if you taste it, you're like, that I'm going to enter, right? So don't ever set yourself up for that out the gate.
Yeah, and then of course that beer is not a yeast-driven beer. It doesn't need to have any yeast character. So
sure,
as long as the 05 or the can grind through it and bring it down to a reasonable terminal gravity. You're good.
How long did that take to get down?
So it was probably at the final gravity, which was it got all the way down to 1022.
Huh.
So that was 80% apparent attenuation for that yeast,
wow.
which is solid for a gravity that starts that high. So,
yeah, that's great. I wouldn't. Yeah, wow.
It held up to the alcohol.
Yeah, and we hit that. It was probably about 8 days, I think, and it was at terminal. And then I just let it hang out for I think like a full 3 weeks because I just didn't want to rush it. Didn't want to. Yeah, I was like, just as much time as you need.
Yeah, for sure.
And worked out. So.
I'm reading the style guidelines, and I do like the history sections as we did with the Australian sparkling ale, but it says
it's like Dr. Homebrew.
Well, no, this is better than Dr. Homebrew.
I don't know. I don't listen that much.
Well, you should. It's really important radio. One of the first American craft beer versions was Anchor Old Foghorn, first brewed in 1975. Sierra Nevada Bigfoot, first brewed in 1983, set the standard for the hop-forward style of today. The story goes that when Sierra Nevada first sent Bigfoot out for lab analysis, the lab called and said, quote, "Your barley wine is too bitter," to which Sierra Nevada replied, "Thank you."
Cheers.
I think that's pretty good. Commercial examples: Avery Hog Heaven Barley Wine, Anchor Old Foghorn, Great Divide Old Ruffian, which I've never heard of, Rogue Old Crustacean. I love Old Crusty. Man, that beer is so good. Sierra Nevada Bigfoot and Victory Old Horizontal. Sounds like Bev.
So rude.
I don't know what that means. I should have said Sam, and that probably would have been less weird.
Right.
Old Horizontal. Here's Old Horizontal going. Well, I'm going to taste this beer now.
Me too.
It smells great. It smells like an American barley wine, but it smells like an aged version of American barley wine. It smells like a Bigfoot, like 15 or something like that, where the malt has kind of, I don't want to say oxidized in a bad way, but kind of oxidized a little bit. But the hops have kind of subdued, but there's still all that pine kind of coming through.
It doesn't have that port prune thing that sometimes aged old ales can get.
Yeah, I'm real interested to see how it's going to develop.
How much of this do you have left?
I have, let's see, like 18, 12-ounce bottles.
Okay.
So,
how long are you going to try to keep it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. And, what do I submit?
You try to defend next year, or you should wait a year before you defend?
I don't know.
Defend.
I'll have to taste it.
Defend.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, the tasting bottles are important. I mean...
Yeah?
I mean, you're going to... And, if you keep it for 3 years, that's 3 bottles you got to taste. I mean, now you're down to 15.
Exactly.
And the competition, like one round's like whatever. I mean,
There's other comps too. There's a state fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but NHC is the one you want to enter. Who cares about state fair? Well, I guess you do get the bear statue. Do you still get the bear statue?
Oh yeah, got my golden bear.
Oh, see, look at that guy. I thought it was a Firestone Walker, Pat.
We kind of copied him.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck it.
Inspired by.
Yeah.
There's always that question though. Do I keep entering this in a competition, or do I actually sit down and enjoy it?
Drink it. Yeah.
What I intended to brew this beer so I could enjoy it, and now I've shipped it all off to all the points, all four corners of the world for competition.
Which is kind of what homebrewing really is. You know what I mean? You're technically brewing so you can enjoy it, but then you find out there's competitions. Forget about it. It's a whole new. You mentioned something, Tasty, and I don't know if you meant to say this, but tasting bottles.
Yeah.
What do you mean by
like,
tasting
for instance,
bottles?
Like when you come back with your medal around your neck, what would be more fun than to take one of your bottles out and like pour it out and a friend or wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And celebrate the victory.
Yeah.
There goes the bottle.
Yeah.
And then, so now you're trying to age a beer, right? Well, that means if you want to age a beer and then pop it at the right time, you got to have at least 4 bottles because in a year you taste it. If you got to wait another year. Pretty soon you're down to no bottles. You're just tasting the beer.
5 for nationals, right? Because it's 2 for the first round,
Yeah.
3 for the second, and then you're tasting beer. So you want to have 6 sitting around, right?
Yeah. So you're almost
just for nationals. Just for nationals.
Yeah. If you want to defend, you don't have to defend.
I always like to have a bottle that I drink on the day of the judging, so I get a taste of what the judges are tasting.
Same thing.
Yeah, I think with this one, I'll definitely be drinking one with the taste, the notes I get back because we haven't seen those yet.
Good.
But I definitely want to see, kind of compare. What do I taste? What do they taste?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah,
all
good.
that stuff.
That's great learning experience.
Well, and so I thought what you were getting at is bottling small, like the 4-ounce bottles to have smaller bottle, like as literal tasting bottles. So you don't pop 12 ounces, you pop a little 4-ounce, John. And then you get the same thing, right? It's the same thing.
That's a good strategy. If you're going to make a beer like that, you are going to age. Yeah, get some nips and do some 7 ounce. It'd be great.
That's a great idea.
And they take the sediment really well too.
With the punt and the thing or whatever, which I always think is a bad word.
Yeah,
because it's not punting the football; it's you're calling something a literal punt, and then it sounds like
icky.
A little unsettling.
Yeah, it's like, that's thank you for calling me a punt.
That's a good idea. Don't even feel bad about drinking 12 ounces of beer. Just see how it's doing.
This beer is really good, man.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, man.
It's hop forward, but not too hop forward. It's a little citrusy, but a lot of pine and
the malt is, dare I say, decadent.
Ooh, wow! You're going to do so good on Dr. Homebrew.
Yeah, this guy's fitting right in.
Wow, look at this kid.
No, just real nice caramel, but very well balanced.
Yeah, and not super sweet, not super heavy. I almost want to say this is going to sound shitty. Thin. I don't mean thin, but I almost want to say thin, where it doesn't. What sits around in your mouth is a little bit of the caramel, but mainly for me, bitterness. It's not like just kind of all of the malt flavor weighing heavily on your tongue like a lot of barley wines. It cleans up really well.
It's not cloyingly sweet. No.
Yeah, there's a lot of body, but there's not a lot of body. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm terrible at Dr. Homebrew, so this is why I don't fill out fucking score sheets because I'm terrible at it.
It's appropriately sweet. I mean, that means the hops are really balancing it out.
But it's clean at the end. It doesn't hang on. It's not heavy. It's a little bit lighter than what I would expect from an American barley wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
maybe that's why I only won bronze.
I've had other ones. Yeah, I think I mean getting the gravity lower I was completely paranoid about that. Like I wanted to make sure it finished reasonably low because I've heard other people that are finishing in the high 30s and saying that's the I just have a tough time thinking that that's going to be a good finish on the beer. So
especially as the hops drop out over time, that amount of
exactly
is going to show up.
Exactly. So I was that was my goal, was to make sure it fermented as far down as it naturally wanted to ferment, and so give it all the tools it needed to do that. And I think that succeeded. So that was good.
Absolutely. No, it's a great beer. You want to give us your recipe if you wouldn't mind?
I can certainly do that.
That'd be cool. I thought you'd put your old man glasses on. I was like, oh no, here we go.
I have those, but yeah, the wheels came off at 40. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, my wheels came off at 25. Started going bald.
Yeah, so a little bit.
Started getting handsome.
Is that what happened? All right. So it's a Gordon Strong recipe, so it's complicated, but here we go. So we'll do percentages. So 58% two-row, 31% Maris Otter, 2% Caravienne, 2% C40, 1% C70, 1% C120, 1% Special B, and...
I love Special B.
Yeah, not bad, right? And then a pound of wildflower honey at Flame Out. So, is anybody else getting the honey?
No.
What,
I don't get
what
it.
percent of the
Now that you told me.
fermentables was
Yeah, I totally get it now.
What percent of the extract was the...
Was the honey? Good question. About 4.5%.
Wow.
So that's what you got it in 05. You said.
What's that?
What was the finishing gravity?
22.
22.
Yeah, 22.
Oh, can you imagine if you got down
That's
to 05
what
with
I
this?
thought.
Jesus Christ.
Fuel.
Yeah.
22.
Your tongue would just implode.
You're just taking shots of it at that point.
Yeah.
So adjuncts are okay in a barley wine? I always considered barley
Let's
wine
find out.
to be an all malt beer.
Yeah,
True.
I don't know. I've never.
That's Gordon Strong.
Yeah.
That's his
Hey,
recipe.
he wrote the damn guidelines.
I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I think this is like a learning moment here.
Yeah.
I do kind of taste the honey.
Well, now you mentioned it.
Yeah. Floral. Maybe it's that a little bit of like
I've had other people taste
warm.
it and call it out before I even mentioned it. So,
wow, that's.
I would have done that.
yeah.
We would do
trust
that on
those
Dr.
guys.
You
Homebrew.
definitely would have done that. Yeah.
We definitely do that on Dr. Homebrew. I'm not seeing anything in the guidelines about for or against adjuncts. I mean, I would imagine because it's a high alcohol, so you have to get some of that, corn sugar or whatever,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Should not be syrupy and under attenuated. Carbonation may be low. Yeah, it doesn't really. Generally uses attentive American ale yeast. New World hops are common. Well-modified pale malt should form the backbone of the grist. Some specialty or character malts may be used. Dark malts should be used with great restraint, if at all, as most of the color arises from a lengthy boil. What was your boil time?
Standard 60 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not lengthy, but girthy. And that's what matters.
That's what they say. Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't say at all.
Character malts. I had to play into that.
Yeah.
Stuff you said to avoid, that were in there. The C150 or the 150 or C155, whatever.
1%.
Yeah, there was
Special B is
120 and
that's a lot.
Special B.
I mean, those are small amounts of dark malt, but they a lot of dark malt together.
Yeah, fair amount.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Bronze, huh?
Yeah,
it's
I know,
pretty good,
sorry.
man. No, that's hey. Do you know how many people were in your category?
I believe it was 271 total.
Wow.
Because it was
what do they? Yeah,
it's American Strong Ale, so it's
double IPA going there too.
It's double IPA goes in there.
Oh, that's probably 80% of that.
Totally, yeah. Wheat wine and English barley wine.
Wheat wine. Who makes a wheat wine?
It's funny. I looked in the winners for
come
a couple
on.
years ago.
Yeah.
And there were 2 out of the 3 winners were wheat wine. I was like,
what?
You don't drink wheat wine, bro?
They must have been a great year for wine.
I guess so.
I think that people who brew a wheat wine, they go through the category and they go, oh, what was how many wheat wines were entered the previous year?
Right. No one does that. No,
no one's trying to game the system.
But that's the only reason people brew a wheat wine. I mean, come on.
So one other thing, and I'll take some feedback here.
Uh-oh.
We have a 12-hour mash on this beer.
Whoa.
Overnight mash in a cooler.
That's stupid.
Yep.
Oh, why so long?
That was I was a victim of circumstance.
Oh, okay.
So you had to leave the mash.
You didn't want to do it.
Yeah, well,
Gordon Strong didn't tell you.
No, he
All
did
right.
not.
Was it on the recipe?
He did not specifically direct me.
Okay.
But what happened was I had first of all I was still doing mashing in a cooler, and so I was looking at the water to grist ratio on this thing, and it was nuts, right? It was just, it's oatmeal, just completely crazy thick. And so
Making
I was paranoid.
bricks.
Yeah, and I was paranoid
The
about
spoon would stand up.
Absolutely, it would. And I was paranoid about conversion, so I was thinking, all right, I'm going to do a long mash on this thing. I'm going to do like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And so I mashed in. I was like 154, and life happened, and I was brewing the next morning. So I just ran that thing off, and I proceeded. And
so what temperature was it when you got back to?
133 degrees.
Okay. And then, so you just took it out as is.
Yep.
But you sparged?
No sparge.
No sparge.
No sparge.
Yep. So what I'm thinking is, I'm curious about this, is there anything going on in a mash that long that would
get right on your mic there.
That would allow you to ferment down lower than you normally would?
Extra conversion or things breaking down a little bit more than we understand?
I don't know, yeah.
Well, you did a reverse step mash.
Exactly.
Reverse step.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
It's like a reverse sear.
Backwards down the step.
Yes, exactly.
But, I mean, just because something you didn't go, why can't it happen? Like, it could happen later. I don't know.
I mean, what's the difference? As long as you're not denaturing anything, right? Would you think you'd move through those ranges?
There's no answers here.
Right. I'm just
don't speculate. But this might be new science to make.
Fun, right?
Tasty, you should earn your reputation. Give him an answer right now.
Yeah, I'll make something up.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. It could have the whole enzyme profile could be different.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting everything, right? Yeah. Alpha and beta. And
you might get a little. At those temperatures, you probably got a little acid going in there too.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
When you're starting where you started, you're denaturing some enzymes that aren't going to come back for you. So regardless of as it slowly
the protein acid rest, those are gone.
As it slowly cools down, you're not going to regain enzymes.
Not that there aren't proteins that are still available.
Sure.
To happen at lower temperatures.
That rest point.
Mm-hmm.
You've passed.
Yeah, kind of. You could obviously. There's a sense. As it goes up, it denatures everything below it.
Right.
We should call Jamil. We'll call Jamil right now.
Absolutely.
Wake him up.
Hotline, right?
It's the red phone. It's lift up that panel.
I know a guy in Europe, but that's different time zone.
Well, Sean, I think it's a good beer, and I appreciate you bringing in your sacred bottles. We have one that is unopened, and I'm sure you should tuck that back in with its brothers and sisters. Yeah, for sure. And then
we'll give it to the DOZE members that showed up.
There you go. Are you going to enter this? I know it depends on how it tastes, but are you going to try to enter it as an American Barleywine next year, or are you going to go maybe wait and go Old Ale, or what are your plans for this beer?
I mean, we'll have to taste it, right, to see where it's at. But I mean, for Old Ale, I think we're way on the hoppy side, unless it settles out big time. And I think we're high on alcohol. This is an 11.6 beer, so I think Old Ale. I don't know where Old Ale maxes out at.
Isn't that odd though that or double IPAs are judged in the same category?
A little bit, I think so. Yeah.
That is, yeah. I mean, first of all, how would you like to be a judge on that panel,
you're
man?
Just getting murdered.
That's tough. You're Ubering home after that.
Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine a flight of 12. Here's 4 double IPAs, 3 American barley wines, and the rest are Old Ales or whatever it is. I don't know, but I would beat my head into the ground with my own shoe. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you don't want more than 4 or 5 in that flight, for sure.
No. I mean, I'm assuming there's 12. I don't know, because there's 12 in anything, but...
that's a rough flight.
Yeah. Hey, just so you guys know, the Brewers Publications, the leading publisher of contemporary and relevant brewing literature for today's craft brewers, home brewers, and beer enthusiasts. They started in 1986 with Greg Noonan's now classic Brewing Lager Beer, the most comprehensive book for home and microbrews. That is, honestly, such a good book. If you're brewing lager beer and you're not reading Brewing Lager Beer, you're not brewing lager beer. Today, there are nearly 50 Brewers Publications titles, print and digital, and a beer book to fit most needs. Whether you're just discovering beer or a seasoned professional, Brewers Publications is the go-to choice for authors, brewers, and craft beer aficionados. Browse the complete catalog at brewerspublications.com. What is that beer? Is that your beer, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of full chilling?
Yeah.
You're all right with the barley wine, though, I imagine, right?
Yep.
All right. We're going to take our last break. We're going to come back. We're going to do some beer news. You guys can hang out if you want, or if you want to go out and drink, that's fine, too. Free beer, so, you can do both. I don't really care. And then that's it, Tasty. We're gone.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right, hang on, everybody. We'll be right back. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending mash and boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Brewcasters are back.
401 beer.
Whatever.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. That was good beer, man. We're sitting around talking about that barley wine. Which is, look, it's fine, right? I'm just disappointed we didn't have that sparkling ale. That's what I really wanted, man.
Yeah.
Something called a pale ale? I'm all about that.
Well, if I'd had one, that'd probably be the first one I ever remembered, so I don't know what I wouldn't know what to think of.
Well, there's that. There's that,
I would
too.
just say that's a really good tasting beer. I see why you won.
Absolutely. We're going to do some beer news, Tasty. You ready for that?
I could use some more news about beer, for sure.
This segment is brought to you by craftbeer.com, home of the most powerful brewery locator in the universe. Which, you know what? Change their mind. You can't. It's just what it is. Whether you're traveling in a new city or planning your next beercation, head to craftbeer.com and explore the wide world of American craft beer.
Am I allowed to make fun of live reads?
If you speak into the microphone.
Beercation.
Hey, man, if they tell me where tiki bars are, I'm all about it, too. Now, that's the thing, man. A lot of people go... Like, hey, I want to go to, like Nashville or Portland, especially Portland.
No,
like
I
a city
get it.
like Portland.
I'm just being sassy.
Oh.
You're not making fun of the word beercation, are you? My God, that's what I do. I mean,
you're
I call
right.
it beer retirement or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And honestly, man, there's so many friggin' breweries opening up now. There's no way to know. Because if you're going somewhere and you do your research, like if you're anything like me, you're doing your research like 3 months, 6 months beforehand. Who knows what brewery was in planning at that moment and that is now open?
You're talking about landing in a different area of the country.
Yeah.
I could put you in a car and take you to 5 breweries within 40 minutes to here you've never been to before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's growing. If you don't keep going, you're going to be behind.
Yeah, well, that's true. My favorite part about that is I can put you in a car. I'm not going to drive with your ass. I'm staying home, but I'll put you in a car.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't be driving. We'd hit 4 breweries in one day.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Speaking of breweries, actually, I do want to read this before we get into the beer news. California Craft Brewers Association.
Oh.
It's time for the Beer Summit.
That's a great event.
It's time for it's the 4th annual California Craft Beer Summit and Beer Festival, which, of course, is the premier event for the craft brewing community across California and the West Coast.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're opening it up a little bit. September 6th through the 8th in Sacramento, California. Get the backstage pass to the California craft brewing industry. Network with established and up-and-coming brewers. Learn from equipment vendors and suppliers and get a few tips on how to improve and perfect your beer. Which is great also for homebrewing too, man. By the way, because a lot of this stuff obviously translates over. Maybe not the equipment, but
there are some threads on homebrewing.
Yeah, that's true. But even like the philosophy on the craft brewing side, you know, it doesn't matter. There's nothing shut out to you guys.
Here's the inside thing that they're not saying. It's a chance for a home brewer to basically feel like you're at an industry event.
Yes.
Everybody, all the brewers are there.
That's true.
They're going to brewing topics. You just as a regular citizen be in there and you know, just hear people just like you feel like you're at CCB, but you know, with the Craft Brewers Conference, without having to pay to do it. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. On the expo hall floor, you can learn from brewing industry innovators and pioneers, including Greg Koch from Stone Brewing, Rich Norgrove Jr. of Bear Republic, Mr. Dr. Friendly Charlie Bamforth of UC Davis, and someone called Jamal Zayanashiv of Heretic Brewing. He must be a new guy. I don't know who he is.
About as good as I could on that.
Educational sessions including Sour Barrel Manager's Q&A and Take Your Home Brewed Beer from Good to Great. Help you continue to hone your craft. 3-day events end in a celebration, which is the largest California craft beer fest with more than 160 breweries.
You said the largest California...
largest California craft beer festival.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Tickets are available for one day or the entire summit weekend. You can go to cacraftbeersummit.com. They have early bird discounts which end July 20th. And on the next show, on next Monday, we are giving away tickets to this event.
Oh, nice.
So do me a favor, Tasty.
You got to be able to come.
I almost called you Taryn, by the way. Do me a favor and figure out how we're going to give those away.
I will.
Okay. Did you figure it out
Not
yet?
anybody calling in or we'll get it to the. By then, we might have a
Twitter game. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. Let me put C.
That's how the RV's holding
up. Well, that's true. Well, apparently, we'll figure out how Warren's bottom is holding up.
Yeah,
Apparently, he
Warren's
has bottom trouble.
What do you mean bottom?
Like his butt. He has diarrhea. He's shitting.
Diarrhea.
He's shitting a lot.
Cool.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be cool about it, though.
Cool. Well, I saw him posting all week about eating pizza every day in Chicago and stuff. I don't know. He might have.
Yeah. He caught something either running his body into the ground or flying all over the place. But he's paying for it now. He can't be here today, so we're here for him.
He's got some sort of short-term issue. Can we get him on the phone? I want to hear how it's going.
You want to call him?
No, I'm just kidding.
I can do it.
No, wait.
I'll call his ass right now, dude.
This way too crazy, but okay, if you want. I don't know.
Well, hey, fuck it. What else are we going to do?
He'd bow down to you later. Return his call.
Yeah, well, he did butt dial me. But I don't know. If you want to call Warren, I'll call Warren for you, dude. 925.
We'll give him 3 minutes and we'll hang up on it.
He is, let's see, 925 235 832. No, I'm kidding. That's not his phone number, everybody. Don't worry. It's not even his area code. But yeah, I'm wondering how his butt is. I mean, he said he was throwing up or shitting.
Food poisoning.
But he stopped in here to the bar because apparently there was some Loma beer on tap, which apparently there was Loma beer on tap last night. There's none on now.
Oh, it must have went fast. Good for him.
Yeah. I'm drinking this wit beer. I forget who the brewery is. It's actually pretty good. I've been into wit beers lately.
Great stuff.
Dude, St. Bernardus. They have a wit beer. The wit beer is stellar. It's in cans now.
What?
It's like little 10-ounce cans or whatever. They're amazing. Warren.
At the tone, please record your message.
Warren.
When you've finished recording, you may hang up.
That's not Warren's phone number. Wait, that's not Warren's voicemail. That's not Warren's voicemail? Did I just screw up?
No, it's like, hi, this is Warren.
Hi, this is Warren.
Let me hear that.
No, that is, That's his friggin' phone number, so he must have... Because every time I've ever left a message for Warren, I've always made fun and mocked his voicemail, because it's like... It's like, this is Warren. If you want me to call you back, better leave a message.
This is JP.
Yeah, that's what I go. I go, hey, Warren, this is Jason. Give me a call. I forget what I was talking about. Whatever. Okay, let's do some news.
Yeah, I'll give you some news.
This is Canadian news, but you know what? Tasty, we're an international company. So I figured
we have a lot of great listeners in Canada.
It's going to work for us. Craft beer lovers have one more reason to look at their iPhone or their phone in general. A new app launched on Friday gives users access to $2 craft beers at participating breweries and bars across Ottawa. So if you're going to Ottawa, or you live in Ottawa, which is in Canada, which is in North America, which is on Earth, check this out. It's called the Craft Beer Passport. It's free to download, gives beer lovers an affordable new way to explore Ottawa's burgeoning craft beer scene, which Ottawa is, what, East Coast? Or is it more middle?
Whatever, it's in Canada.
It's just everything in Canada is just in one.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around this concept because it sounds like something it's like a beer drinkers club to me.
Well, yeah, and I wonder if it could. I wonder if it could work in the U.S.
Well, hell yeah,
you know what I mean? You think?
Well, I mean, what there basically is they're giving a select group of people a discount, and the person that are giving the discount are more than glad to do it because it drives up volume.
Well, that's true. Ottawa is like Montreal, so yeah, it's West Coast or East Coast. Sorry, excuse me. Let's see. Visit any of the participating establishments on your Passport account and be rewarded with a 12-ounce craft beer for only $2, which apparently is the legal minimum price in Canada.
Really?
Yeah. For example, Big Rig Brewery, one of the participating restaurants, typically sells a 12-ounce beer for, get this, $4.75.
Okay.
First of all, I've never seen a beer that cheap out here. Ever.
12 ounces now. That
12
equates,
ounces.
That's still like at $6.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Or something like that.
Anyway, they have a map. They have more than 70 bars, breweries, and beer producers across the Providence. I thought it was really cool for a number of reasons. One, if anybody's in Ottawa and you don't know about it, you can get $2 beers. But I wonder if it would. I wonder if the breweries would need anything like that out here. I don't think it would work because I don't think they need to do it. It's why most breweries don't friggin' advertise on the brewery. They don't need it. They don't need it, right? Because everyone's going to the breweries already.
Well, they want them to keep coming, and they want if price is an issue, they'll come back. So they want to
you get that one beer.
Beer's a volume business, and any place that you can, move volume, you're going to make a lot more money. And
that's true.
There's a brewery in Oakland. I'll mention them, Ghost Town Brewing. They've got their pints. They have like full pints of like IPA, full IPA and a double IPA for like $5 a pint.
That's a great price.
It's a great price.
Yeah.
They have and you can do half pint for $3.
I like the half pint options.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah. Especially when you go in there and they got 15 beers on tap. And then they've got a $3 all the time a pint cream ale all the time. You get a pint of this cream ale
for $3.
$3.
That's a great gig, dude. That's a great gimmick. I like that.
Yeah. I call that brewery pricing.
Yeah.
It's in sort of a neighborhood, but it's a destination you can go to, and you could drink 4 tasters and get out of there pretty reasonably priced.
That's not bad. I dig the option of having a essentially American light lager, really, for $3.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
That's cool.
Yeah, go to Ghost Town.
That's what I would drink all the time.
The head brewer there, his name's Justin Burt. It's his birthday today. So.
Oh, well, that's good. Happy birthday to him.
Who knows?
I don't want to get shot though, so I'm never going to go to Oakland. Yeah. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Oakland's a cool spot. See, I didn't read that story, so I'm not going to read it. But
anyway, the passport thing sounds more like a coupon, like a Groupon kind of. But somebody's paying to have that posted about the special pricing. That's how that company's making their money. Getting the information out about the $2.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
This is a cool story. It's from a marketing journal, but Swedish beer brand hijacks Budweiser's Google search campaign.
I know they had one, but okay.
Apparently, yeah. Swedish beer brand Norrlands Guld recently hijacked Budweiser's Tag Words campaign that won the Grand Prix for print and publishing at Cannes Lions last month. I don't know, all this foreign words.
That's cool.
Yeah. Tag Words encouraged people to use certain Google phrases to uncover photos showcasing Budweiser's place in musical history. First of all, who gives a shit? Who was it? John Lennon with a Bud? Who cares?
A lot of the stadium shows were Bud shows.
I'm sure. I know. It's like, God, who gives a shit, man? Norrlands Guld agency, Axtem Hulst, purchased AdWords on Budweiser's search words. So, if you guys are in SEO or marketing at all, you know what this means. So basically, you can go on Google and you can pay to be in the rankings based on whatever words people are searching. So that's the Google AdWords campaign. Okay. So whenever someone searched for the phrases in Budweiser's campaign, they're served an ad from the Swedish beer company. The ads features taglines like, "Why Google beer when you can drink one?" And IRL beer is better than Googling beer, which for all you old heads out there, IRL is in real life. So apparently what they did is they would, and you can bid for these. So you just bid the maximum bid, and you outbid Google, or you outbid Budweiser, and then they're marketing for you, I guess. Budweiser launched its campaign in June with ad agency Africa. The beverage giant used out-of-home displays with specific Google search terms and the phrase "search it" to get people to uncover photos of famous musicians drinking Budweiser through history. I think that's pretty funny.
Put a lot of money into it to lose all that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. By purchasing AdWords based on the search term of Budweiser's campaigns, Norrlands Guld is the latest brand to troll one of its competitors through the strategy of something called hackvertising. This approach, which usually involves clever tactics and silly banter, seems to appeal to consumers who often love a good rivalry and tend to egg on the comical feuds. Brands that have deployed this strategy have generated major social media buzz and driven significant brand awareness and engagement. Fast food chain Wendy's is a notable example of a brand that has used Twitter several times to take jabs at its competitors, most often McDonald's. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what, man. If you're on Twitter, Wendy's, they do they are pretty snarky, man. For National Compliment Day in January, Wendy's was challenged to compliment McDonald's, and they responded with, "They are absolutely amazing at freezing beef." Oh man, Burger King used a similar stunt with its Google Home of the Whopper campaign. Anyway, whatever. It's pretty cool, and fuck Budweiser. Here's another Budweiser ad.
Well, anyway, it crossed over into beer, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. These 6 foreign craft beers are about to make their U.S. debut. And I thought this was important because, first of all, as if
we don't have enough good craft beer here,
right? As if the craft market wasn't slim and tight and
show us how to make West Coast
and oversaturated anyways. Sure. Here we're going to bring in 6 more. So AB InBev is apparently prepared to further work the craft angle from another approach, importing more of the craft beer brands it owns internationally into the U.S. They've gotten the go-ahead from the Alcohol, Tobacco, Tax, and Trade Bureau to bring in 6 more of its craft beer brands. Those brands reportedly include England's Camden Town, which made headlines a couple years ago when they got purchased. Like, they were the first, I think, international or at least the English brewery to be bought.
Yeah, yeah.
And people were pissed at that. Brazil's Cervejaria Colorado. You like that accent, Bev? It's pretty good, right? Mexico's Artesanas de Malta y Cebada, South Africa's Newlands Spring Brewing, Canada's Archibald Microbrewery, and Belgium's Bellevue Brewery. All beers will apparently be available exclusively on draft, except for the Canadian beers, which will be packaged as well. So check that out, everybody. Don't buy those beers if you don't want to support Anheuser-Busch and their terrible tactics. This is a fun one. It's very international, sticking with the international theme. There's a company out there making craft beer from gray water. It's nothing new. Yeah. We've talked about that before. But for the 10th anniversary of the Global Water Conference, apparently this company called Singapore. What is it called? Jesus Christ! The beer is called New Brew. Oh, yeah. It's like a translated thing, so it's kind of awkward.
I know the brewer, Sean.
Yeah. It was prepared by the National Water Agency, PUB, and Homegrown Restaurant and Brewery Brewworks. Yeah. Brewworks with a Z, Bev. So, ears up with a Z, Brewworks with a Z.
No, I knew where you were going with that. Just stop it.
All right. To commemorate the 10th anniversary of Singapore International Water Week, a global water conference that kicked off on Sunday, July the 8th. That evening, members of the press were invited to taste 3 unlabeled glasses of beer normal beer, which presumably made just with, city water, New Brew, and Pure Water Brew, which is a beer from the United States made using recycled water.
Oh, from the U.S.
Yeah, apparently all three beers taste rather similar, differing only in the extent of their bitterness. Organizers said the results of the taste test would be revealed only at the end of the conference on Thursday. Trade visitors will be able to taste New Brew at selected events during the conference, which I like. It's like, okay, one of these three beers or two of these three beers were made with recycled water. We're not going to tell you which one it is or which one everybody likes until after the show.
Right.
I thought
just know that the water is number one perfect water. I mean, just make sure that everybody understands that part.
Yeah, he added the launch. This guy added that the launch of New Brew was a public outreach opportunity to highlight how Singapore's ultra clean, ultra high quality recycled water is well within international standards of safe drinking water. Well, neat. I think that's the future.
And it doesn't hurt
that's where
to
we're
add
going.
a little fermentation in process.
Well, that's
clean things up.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
I know. I believe the water's perfect. I drink gallons of it before they brew it. But that's what it used to be. People would make alcohol beverages to clean the water up so they could drink it. Right. Purify it.
Yeah, it was cleaner to drink booze than it was to.
It would kill the bacteria when they lower the pH.
Yeah. But I think that's where we got to be going, right? I mean, there's so much gray water that we're like they're pouring it, in the ocean or whatever. I don't pretend to know a whole lot about it, but we got to be going there with the way that we're growing a population on the planet.
Yeah.
We got to be going there.
Yeah, in some situations where there's more water than you could possibly use, I could see what do we care? But there's other places where it's rather limited.
Yeah,
there's not that big a reservoir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know who has a big reservoir? Drake's.
Yeah.
Go to drinkdrakes.com. Check them out. If you're in the Bay Area, hit up their spots. The Drake's dealership right there. Go to the brewery for a fun time and drink their beer. It's fresh. It's good. They make a whole lot of styles. They do those hoppy beers real well, of course, because they're on the West Coast, and that's what we do out here, apparently, is make a bunch of hoppy beers.
You do a great job.
Despite me trying to beg and plead for us to not do that.
Well, they got a whole sour program. And
They do.
And get the whole
barrel age and all that kind of stuff. DrinkDrakes.com. Check them out. Drink Drakes. They're good dudes. And ladies.
Oh, yeah.
I think dude is like a non-sex specific, non-gender, non-object. I've called my faucet dude. You know what I mean? It's just I don't have a problem calling women dudes and men dudes, and this pen is a dude. I don't care.
I call Abby bro all the time.
I call my daughter bro all the time too. I call her boy. I don't know why. Maybe that's my Freud going like I really wanted a boy. But anyway, this is our last story, Tasty. Actually, before we get to the last story, let's talk about the city of Concord. The city of Concord is a welcoming place to start or grow your business. I don't know if you knew that, Tasty. In fact, it's the largest city in Contra Costa County and is a job center for the area. The city's economic development staff are looking to grow the city's craft beer scene with new breweries, tap rooms, and pubs. Concord's central location, strong demographics, and established brewery-friendly community makes Concord an ideal location to start your craft beer business. The city's historic downtown is experiencing a new private and public investment with new businesses opening and new apartment developments in the pipeline. Downtown also has more than 1.3 million square feet of office space, which provides a strong lunch and post-work customer base for those looking to open a pub or microbrewery. Centrally located off of major freeways, the city's economic team is ready to help you find a successful location to meet your needs and help you through any permit process that may be needed.
Excellent.
Give the City of Concord's economic development staff a call. Brian, he's at 925-671-3018 if you want to open up a brewery or a tap room or a pub or anything like that in Concord here.
Yeah, your listeners, contact me at tasteitbrewingnetwork.com and send me some money. We'll open the place up.
I got some ideas too, man. I got some ideas. Let's go in on something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think our ideas would be weird.
They open the bar. Think anybody show up? Nah. Nobody would be that curious.
I don't know. Let's try it. Let's see.
You might open up 6 of them.
Now, why stop there? Why not 10? Why not 12?
Too much work.
You know, it's not a lot of work. Beersmith.
Nice.
Beersmith.com, 21-day free trial. You all know all about it. You love it, Beersmith. They were there at NHC. I didn't get a chance to go and say hi to everybody.
I saw him in whatever.
I did notice Brad is like, I've always thought Brad is like a 75-year-old man, but he looks like 40.
No,
he's been around, but he's been in homebrewing forever, and I've never really like face-to-faced him. He looks like a super young dude.
No, he's
younger than what I thought. Like, I thought he was like decrepit and like 100. I think he was like older than you.
No, he's real vibrant. No, he's really vibrant. Full of knowledge, and he's on his game for sure.
He's a good dude.
He's off the rocks.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, last thing. Leicestershire monks brew Britain's first Trappist beer. For the most of the past 183 years, the Trappist monks of the Mount St. Bernard Monastery in rural Leicestershire were dairy farmers selling their milk to fund a quiet, rhythmic existence of prayer and contemplation. But in 2013, the low price of milk and changes in agricultural production methods meant they could no longer make the small profit they had relied on for the modest living expenses and to buy Teslas for every monk
and
in the abbey.
Wheat was illegal, so they had to.
Right. Yeah. One morning before dawn, the monks loaded their beloved cows onto lorries, which, trucks. Okay.
Oh, no.
I speak fluent Britain.
Bye, cow.
And sent them off to market. It was the end of an era, but they still needed to generate an income. Now, 5 years after saying goodbye to their cattle, the Mount St. Bernard community is brewing beer. Yeah. The UK's first Trappist beer, brewed in accordance with recipes dating back centuries, will go on sale at specialist bars and retailers. Tynt Meadow, a strong, dark ale named after the location of the monastery, has aromas of dark chocolate, licorice, and rich fruit flavors with a U, according to promotional material. It has been a steep learning curve, said Father Joseph, who had been at the monastery for 32 years. We're not big drinkers. Just the occasional glass at Christmas, Easter, and big feast days. I know.
Wait a minute. Why didn't they do like monk-to-monk collabs? And we're like, they're monasteries, and like get the shit together.
I know, right?
No, they just started out like they didn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, they're Britons, man. They don't know. When we started, we couldn't detect the tastes the experts were talking about. This guy sounds like such just a noob brewer. He has the tastes the experts are talking about. He's so adorable. I want to hug him. All the beers tasted the same. But over time, we got more sophisticated.
Isn't there a monastery like Brewers Guild or something where you can get like have their own bulletin board or something?
They should, right? Yeah. He goes, now I can really taste the difference between them.
Nice.
They produce pottery, candles, honey, rosaries. Anyway,
flea market.
I think it's pretty cool. Oh, this is a cool part. Once the monks fell on the idea of reviving a beer-making tradition, they had to find out how it was done. They practiced with a home brewing kit and sought advice, there you go, Tasty, from 11 other Trappist breweries in Northern Europe,
all right.
as well as Constant Kindmans, a Dutch master brewer. The monks have tried to combine the traditions of Trappist brewers elsewhere with those of small local breweries in the UK, which makes sense, you want to bring it a little local. Over the past year, they've relocated their refectory. Bev, what's a refectory?
Refractories, right?
I don't know. You can use it in a sentence.
It's like where they live.
They have relocated their refectory. I literally just did.
I know.
Dildo. Chicken, excuse me, I'm hungry. Kitchen and laundry to create a space for a new artisanal brewery. It was an enormous project, probably the largest project Mount St. Bernard has ever undertaken. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of cool.
That's a great article if they take that part out where he had all these missteps at the beginning. That shit out. It's like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, they consulted with the other monks.
Yeah, I like that.
Everything like, what? It really doesn't taste good? What are you talking about?
I like those Johns.
I'll dump all those until they got it right.
Speaking of Johns, Tasty, Adam and Eve wants to spice things up in the bedroom for you and whoever else is in your bedroom. They're backing up that promise. Go to wow, what is my problem? Jesus Christ. Go to adamandeve.com, use code BNARMY at checkout. You'll get, wow, what the fuck is my problem? I'm trying to, fractal this thing. I can't do it.
Stroke?
I might be.
Bigger font, more space.
It is all in caps. I don't know why it's all, and so it's hard to read. You'll get 50% off almost any item when you enter offer code BNARMY at checkout. You'll also get the free Big O kit, which you get the gel we've talked about, the little vibrating thing, which by the way, tasty. I don't. Well, let me finish this and then I'll go into that. You can choose a new adult toy, a movie, anything else at 50% off, free shipping, Big O kit, gel, shaky thing, adamandeve.com. Use code BNARMY. So apparently they have vibrators out there, and I don't know if they have them on Adam and Eve. They probably should. Bev should probably look that up for me. That they shake to like music. So you can like Bluetooth it to your phone.
So you play your favorite song, and it like when it peaks, you peak.
Yeah, I guess, right? So I mean, we were kind of like having fun before the show. And I was like, can you imagine like
Freebird?
I think it'll play anything through your just through your phone.
The original music-driven vibrator.
Like, can you imagine?
What's your bio? Oh.
Can you imagine?
Additional information by Bev. What's the name of your?
Is it on Adam and Eve?
More information by Beverly Moore.
Thank you, Bev.
I'm looking at Adam and Eve right now.
Imagine this is the song that you're playing. Like this is Brain Oil, Nate's band. Hey, what is this? I mean, how do you like? And then when like the screaming starts, man, Nate shreds, dude. I'm gonna tell you that. Anyway, I mean, what kind of music do you play? This is the song I would play if I had that thing.
Yeah.
This is the song I would play right here. Wait, where is it? This is like my favorite song right now.
The bass line more.
Yeah.
Dance with my dogs in the nighttime. Trap nigga with the chickens like Popeye.
Yeah.
Money changing colors like tie-dye. I'm just trying to get it, I ain't trying to die. She got a big ol' on your booty, make the world cry. In the kitchen, wrist twisting like
That's my favorite line. I can't get that line out of my head. She got a big ol' onion booty, make the world cry. Migos, baby. Stir fry. Look it up.
Blue Motion, Next One, Bluetooth Panty Vibe. They are on Adam and Eve.
There you go.
They're $129.
Hey, I'm
free
sorry.
shipping, maybe be an army.
Yeah, if I can get whomever I want to enjoy a good time with this song, I'm down for it. It's fine.
There's a couple things.
Big
in
ol'
this that are
booty make the
amazing.
world cry.
There's always fantasy time. Your time alone.
Turn to have this fantasy of you being in the other room and me hearing this song, and we both enjoy a good time.
Standout sentence.
Yeah.
You can control the vibe, or let your partner from up to 30 feet away. Your Blue
Perfect
Motion
for Tinder.
Was it 10 feet's perfect?
Your Blue Motion Next One Bluetooth Panty Vibe lets you control a whole new menu of vibrations with just a wave of your hand, or a tap on the screen, or the beat of your favorite music.
Oh, God, I love it.
This is a game changer.
And it's not like a dildo. It's a pair of underwear.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so it's
weird.
very subtle.
Dude, I saw...
Could be like across the room in a crowded room, and somebody could be messing with your phone app and just be going for it.
That would be weird. That'd be like
you could
the
go
ultimate
clubbing and give your numbers on.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Airdrop like the app to people or whatever. So when Tara and I are like we're like sleeping on the couch or like falling asleep that time where it's like she's going to fall asleep when we're watching Doctor Who or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, let's put something on. It's always all these fucking lockup shows on Netflix. Like just the lockup, whatever, where they anyway. And they're great. They're great to fall asleep to. I don't know why.
They're boring as well.
Well, kind of, yeah, but not really also at the same time. But you can
take your mind off what you're worrying about.
You don't have to watch it. You can just hear it. To me, it's like a podcast. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there was one where this gal was making a dildo out of soap. Like everyone's used soap and like paper, and she would put it in a plastic bag, and she was like shaping it, and just the way she was it looked like a femur. It was just this huge thing, and I was like, wow. I mean, I guess if you need something that large, it was like 14 inches long and like a thigh. It was insane. I'm like, this there's no way you can be subtle with that. There's no way. And you're going to get clean.
Advertising piece than a practical.
Yeah, it was weird, man. I like it. Anyway.
All right. Sounds like kind of where people should be ordered.
I think we're done here, Tasty.
All right, roll that song.
Thank you very much. Thanks to Vito and Sean from Club DOZE for coming in here. And thanks to Sean for sharing beer. Vito just kind of gave a recipe.
Thanks to Paul Brown for calling in.
That's true. And no thanks to Warren for changing his stupid voicemail.
Get that colon working, buddy.
I think it's working.
Plug that thing up.
Yeah, get it to stop working. Bev, maybe you have some pointers for him.
Imodium.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. Oh, I was going to go through what other shows we got coming up, but I think we're out of time. Anyway, we have shows. Until the shows, we'll see you guys later.
Later.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great as his charity case.